Part 47. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Depeng. Chapter 465. Wu Tianchuo flashed with curiosity and expectation, passed through the two-color channel, and came to the river crab world. As soon as he appeared, the fat cat lying in Chen Ronghuo's lord's mansion sensed his arrival. It still had a good impression of the old man who gave it a 6th-level tiger demon. So the figure flashed, and the fat cat turned into an orange-yellow lightning and came in front of Wu Tianchuo. After swallowing the white tiger duke, the fat cat has now reached the middle stage of the 9th level. Even Chen Ronghuo is not as good as it in cultivation. Wu Tianchuo only felt that his eyes were blurred, and he saw the fat cat appeared in front of him. What, cat? Wu Tianchuo was startled, subconsciously took a defensive posture, and blocked his hands in front of him. Meow, old man, you don't recognize me, do you? The fat cat raised his snow-white beard and stared at Wu Tianchuo with a pair of orange eyes. It's you. At this time, Wu Tianchuo finally recognized the fat cat. After recognizing the fat cat, he was relieved. Just thinking of the fat cat's speed just now, he still couldn't help but feel a little scared. It was too scary. This speed is not something that a 7th-level cultivator can have. As for whether an 8th-level cultivator can have it, he said that he didn't see it clearly just now, so he couldn't say. Fat cat, master asks you, what realm are you in now? Wu Tianchuo asked casually. He really couldn't believe it in his heart. Could it be that this fat cat, like Chen Ronghuo, has broken through to the 8th level? Wu Tianchuo felt very complicated. How good was the fat cat who gave him fish at the beginning? His cultivation was not as good as his, and he could control it at will. But now, that's the 8th level. There are only 8 8th-level cultivators in the entire 5-sex alliance. And Chen Ronghuo's cat seems to have such a cultivation, which really makes him not know what to say. Me, hearing Wu Tianchuo asking about his cultivation, fat cat suddenly felt a little disappointed. I just broke through to the middle stage of the 9th level, I am still too weak, and I can't help the master with many things. What? Wu Tianchuo was stunned in place for a moment, and felt that there seemed to be hallucinations in his head. 9th level? And it's the middle stage of the 9th level. Is this fat cat teasing him? Wu Tianchuo felt that his whole body was floating, like a mortal who had experienced a shipwreck and lay on a piece of driftwood to rest. You don't know. Fat cat didn't know what Wu Tianchuo was thinking, and he said whatever he wanted. Before, the master killed the white tiger duke, one of the 32 dukes of the North Sea, and made him into my snack. But by doing so, he offended the Aurora King Island. Although I am a cat, I can guess that the Aurora King Island will definitely not give up next. When they have time, they will definitely come to trouble my Hexy territory. Killed the white tiger duke, one of the 32 dukes of the North Sea, and made him into a snack. At this time, Wu Tianchuo was completely confused. Decades ago, he saw that Chen Ronghuo was extraordinary. But he never thought that in just a few decades, Chen Ronghuo would grow to such a level. Although he had never been to the continent of gods, he still knew some things about the continent of gods. He had also heard of the 32 dukes of the North Sea. But such a strong man now died in the hands of his cheap disciple. What puzzled him was that Chen Ronghuo had fought with the blue-eyed holy thunder beast not long ago, and he couldn't take its 10 moves. How come Chen Ronghuo could kill a strong man of the level of the white tiger duke so quickly? Wu Tianchuo took a deep breath. He asked again, Fat cat, how many 9th-level practitioners do we have in Hexy territory now? There are only 3, one is the master, one is me, and the other is the old man sweeping the floor over there. Fat cat sighed. The old man is very powerful, but he only knows how to sweep the floor every day. If no one breaks into the Hexy world, he hardly takes action. So the pressure of Hexy territory now has to be borne by me and the master. Did Chen Ronghuo really break through to the 9th level? In addition to him and you, the cat, there is actually another 9th level strongman in Hexi territory. At this time, Wu Tianchuo felt that his brain was not enough. The 5 major forces in Shenyang territory, except Shenyang Tiancheng, Tiangu territory and other forces such as Bishan territory, are just at this level, right? The fat cat's voice was not loud, but not small. The big crab, as well as the 2 sea and sky birds in the distance, the doomed black tiger, the little white dragon, etc., all heard it clearly. You, fat cat, eat and sleep every day, and you also have pressure? Almost all of Chen Ronghuo's pets curled their lips. Only the colorful spirit butterfly didn't understand. It thought to itself that sister cat was under such great pressure every day. It seems that I have to practice hard. In the Holy Tiger secret realm, after Chen Ronghuo closed his eyes, he began to use the power of his left hand to touch the source power in the Holy Tiger secret realm from the nearby void. As his strength became stronger and stronger, he could now control his left hand slightly. If he didn't want to touch the attributes from something, the probability of touching the attributes from it would decrease. But if he wanted to, he could increase this probability to a certain extent. Holy Tiger source power add 1. Holy Tiger source power add 1. When Chen Ronghuo touched the attributes one by one into his attribute space, Shen Guo and others standing around Chen Ronghuo all felt a slight change in the surrounding void. Time passed, and when an hour passed, Chen Ronghuo touched a large amount of Shen Guo's original power attributes into his attribute space. Shen Guo and others had clearly noticed that the Shen Guo's original power in the Shengu secret realm had greatly weakened. But when they looked at Chen Ronghuo, they saw that Chen Ronghuo just closed his eyes and stood there quietly. It was as if Chen Ronghuo had done nothing after coming here. Involuntarily, the scene when Chen Ronghuo touched Yeludi Tian's fear bell out of thin air appeared in their minds again. Maybe, he can really do it? In an instant, Shen Guo and King Mu Shenglei Beast and others looked at each other, and excitement flashed in their eyes. If Chen Ronghuo can really transfer the Foundation secret realm of the 5 Sex Alliance to the Gods continent, it will be of great significance to them. Because this will not only allow the disciples of their various sects to practice without worries, but also temporarily enhance their respective strengths, so that they can exert the strength comparable to that of 9th level practitioners in places near the secret realm. And this thought, after another 2 hours, in the entire Holy Tiger secret realm, the Holy Tiger origin power that was filled with only a small part that could support the 5-sided mysterious god formation, and the rest of the Holy Tiger origin power was all taken away by Chen Ronghuo, and everyone exhaled a long breath. It was like holding a breath for too long and finally being released. Thanks to Life is Short for 10,000 coins, book friend, what an unforgettable experience for 1,000 coins, smile at life calmly for 500 coins, and young man hee, dream of smoke, and ling for 100 coins. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 466. Okay, let's go to the next place. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and smiled. As he spoke, King Mu Shenglei Beast and others immediately took him to the 4 secret realms of Qinglei secret realm, Jtao secret realm, Jinshan secret realm and Moying secret realm. In the 4 secret realms, Chen Ronghuo stayed for 3 or 4 hours each, and he almost felt the origin of the 4 secret realms. At this time, because the foundation of power was weakened, the power of the 5-sided mystic god array also greatly weakened. It's just that if you don't enter the 5-sided mystic god array, just watch from the outside, you can't see any flaws. This time, when the 5-faction alliance is all transferred to the crab world, with my strength, plus Fat Cat, plus the power of the 5-faction alliance, it shouldn't take long to take down the Black Dragon territory head-on, right? When everything was done, Chen Ronghuo's eyes immediately showed a gleam of light. He first transferred the 5-faction alliance to the crab world, with the purpose of using the power of the 5-faction alliance when taking down the Black Dragon territory next time. Otherwise, with his strength, although he could also take down the Black Dragon territory, it would definitely take longer. Now the North Sea is turbulent. If it takes too long to take down the Black Dragon territory, there is a high possibility of accidents. In addition to the Black Dragon territory, this time Chen Ronghuo also wants to take down the Black Whale ancestor who was invited by the White Tiger Grand Duke to intercept for the White Tiger Grand Duke. According to his calculations, the Black Whale ancestor is as strong as the White Tiger Grand Duke and the Black Dragon Grand Duke, and is also in the middle stage of the 9th level. With his current realm, if he takes down the Black Dragon territory alone, he may not be able to advance to the middle stage of the 9th level. But if he takes down the Black Whale ancestor at the same time, he will definitely be able to advance to the middle stage of the 9th level. While thinking about this in his heart, Chen Ronghuo took out another 2-world talisman and tore it open. But after tearing open this 2-world talisman, he did not walk into it, but sent a message to the big river crab on the other side through the 2-world channel. Whoosh! Not long after Chen Ronghuo's message was spread, a figure in white clothes and white hair walked out of the passage between the 2 worlds. The person who came was Zhenkinzan. "I meet the Lord." Zhenkinzan bowed respectfully to Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo nodded, and then said to the ancestors of the 5 factions alliance and Zhenkinzan, "Let me introduce you, this is my Hexi leader Pavilion Master, this is..." After introducing everyone, Chen Ronghuo looked at Zhenkinzan and said, "Look at this incomplete 5 directions God-confusing array. Do you have the ability to copy or transform an array here without the God-confusing pearl? I don't need 2 arrays to be exactly the same, I just need to not enter here, and from the outside, there is no flaw." He wanted to transfer the 5 factions alliance to the continent of gods, and the God-confusing pearl must be taken away. Once the God-confusing pearl was taken away, the 5 directions God-confusing array would collapse in an instant. In that case, the disappearance of the entire 5-sex alliance would definitely attract everyone's attention. Chen Ronghuo didn't want to attract too much attention at the moment. Zhenkinzan held the formation plate in his hand, looked around, and then looked at the mystic pearl in the sky. He just hesitated for 3 seconds, and then said confidently, "No problem, Lord, don't worry, just give me 3 hours, I can transform a formation that doesn't need the mystic pearl. As long as no one enters here, the changes in the formation will not be discovered." After Zhenkinzan finished speaking, everyone in the 5-sex alliance suddenly showed surprise. This person is so powerful? Among the crowd, especially Master Huanzhen, who is also proficient in formations, he was even more surprised after hearing Zhenkinzan's words. Transforming a formation that can't be seen from the outside in 3 hours, no matter what others say, he will never be able to do it. Even if he is given 30 days, let alone 3 hours, he can't do it. This is not a speed problem, but a problem of ability. After Zhenkinzan finished speaking, he did not waste any time and immediately threw the Daozhen plate over his head, then made a hand gesture and began to use the great power of heaven and earth in the 5-sex alliance area to transform the formation. As time passed, everyone looked at Zhenkinzan's actions, and their expressions became more and more solemn. They were in the 5 directions God formation, and they could clearly feel that with Zhenkinzan's actions, the 5 directions God formation surrounding their bodies gradually changed, and they were actually beginning to be out of their control. Although all this was due to the fact that most of the formation foundation power of the 5 directions God formation was taken away by Chen Ronghuo, they still felt incredible. By sensing, they knew that Zhenkinzan's cultivation was the same as theirs, both at the 8th level. But Zhenkinzan, with his 8th level cultivation, could achieve this level, which really shocked them all. They did not expect that Chen Ronghuo had such a talent in his hands. Especially Master Huanzhen, who almost regarded Zhenkinzan as a god at this time. He was even thinking whether he could worship Xuanhuan as his master after the event. For practitioners of the battle, the superiority is not determined by the level of cultivation. Instead, it is determined by the understanding of the battle. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The disciples of the Five Sects Alliance, arranged by the top leaders of the Five Sects, appeared in the crab world one by one in order. Is this the continent of gods? After arriving at the crab world, these disciples looked around. Everyone was extremely curious about the legendary continent of gods. This is the crab world, in the attribute plane of the crab territory. The people of the crab territory arranged by Xuanhuan explained in front of these disciples, if you want to see the gods' continent, you still need to go through the portal to get there. Attribute plane? At this time, as another 3 hours passed, Xuanhuan completed the modification of the five-sided god enchanting array, and the ancestors of the Five Factions Alliance, such as the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast, finally came to the crab world with Xuanhuan. As soon as they entered here, they heard the discussions of the people around them, and with their own induction, their faces suddenly changed again. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At the same time, the people of the crab territory who sensed Xuanhuan's return, along with Xuanhuan's pets, also flew over. Everyone, let me introduce you again. Xuanhuan pointed to the dozen or so 8th level practitioners in front of him. This time the Five Factions Alliance moved into the crab world. As the master here, he naturally had to introduce the core strength of his subordinates to the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others. Just surrounded by more than a dozen 8th level practitioners and demons, King Mushengle Beast and others still felt a tingling sensation on their scalps even though they already knew that these people were Xuanhuan's subordinates. The power of this so-called river crab leader is completely inconsistent with what Xuanhuan said before. It's not too weak, but terrifyingly strong. Sorry, I didn't finish the 3 chapters I said yesterday. There are only 2 chapters. As a punishment, I will set a small goal for myself starting tomorrow, 8,000 words a day for a week. I dare not set a goal that is too long now. I am too tired. I hope that after these 300 years, I can write the content after 300 years and type more smoothly at. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 467. Attribute plane. At the core of a huge palace complex built deep under the sea in the North Sea, a woman in black sitting on a high seat showed a slightly interested look on her face after hearing the report from her subordinates. As expected, it is indeed a force that can take over the White Tiger territory. It does have some background. After pondering for a moment, she waved her hand and said, "Call 13 and 14 over." River crab collar. The big river crab moved in the sea water, took out a small mountain-sized stone with yellow light from the river crab's world, clamped it with pliers, and stuffed it into its mouth. After Xuanhuan captured the White Tiger leader, he found many genius treasures in the White Tiger leader's treasure house. Among them, all the Earth attribute genius treasures were picked out by Xuanhuan and given to Dahi Crab. Xuanhuan even took out all the Earth attribute genius treasures that the Five Factions Alliance had accumulated over the years and threw them to it. Dahi Crab has received the inheritance of the God of Strength, plus part of the inheritance of the God of Day and Night, and has unlimited potential. It will be a big help to him now and in the future, and he will naturally not be stingy. Click, click, click. The big river crab chewed the stones happily, as if chewing a unique delicacy. In fact, this is indeed the case. The stone it chews in its mouth is a piece of earth spirit that has been around for hundreds of millions of years. If it is given another period of time, it will even breed spirituality and turn into an earth attribute demon with great strength right after it is born. As for the big river crab, in these days, it has refined more than 1 or 2 treasures of the same level as this billion-year-old earth spirit. Meow. The fat cat walked up and down on the back of the big river crab. From time to time, a person will even stand up and put his two front paws behind his back, making a look of deep sadness. Right now, I am the only one with 9th level combat power under the Master's command. I don't know if I can handle it if the strong men from Aurora King Island come to find me. It's really annoying. Dahi Crab, who was chewing stones, suddenly felt dull when he heard Shamu's words. Compared to this fat cat, I'm still a little tender. Well, my face is not big enough. The big river crab whirred out a gust of wind from its mouth, blowing the sea water in front of it, forming a big wave and rolling into the distance. Hang chi 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 chi. Then it took out 3 or 4 Earth attribute genius treasures of the same level, threw them into its mouth, and started chewing them fiercely. Isn't it the 9th level? See what you can do. At the same time, in the river crab world, under Chen Ronghuo's arrangement, the 5 factions alliance settled in the river crab world in just one day. Everyone. After everything was over, Chen Ronghuo sat on the Lord's throne in the meeting hall and said calmly, I hope that from today on, the 5 factions alliance can be completely integrated with our river crab territory. The 5 factions of the 5 factions alliance will still retain the original section's name. But when the Hexian territory is in need, I hope that everyone in the 5 factions alliance can cooperate. Lord, don't worry, we will not let you down. The blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others said quickly. Not long ago, Chen Ronghuo had recreated the secret realms of their respective factions in the world of Hexi. Now, several members of their 5-sect alliance can display strength comparable to that of 9th level cultivators near the river crab territory. However, they have learned from Wu Tianchuo that there are now 3 9th level cultivators in the Hexi territory, including Chen Ronghui. Not long ago, they also killed the White Tiger Grand Duke, one of the 32 Grand Dukes of Bihai. I have no idea at all. When Chen Ronghuo invited them to join, some of them were still thinking about whether they and others could rely on their strength to take Chen Ronghuo for their own use in the future. But now, as they have seen the many wonders of the river crab territory, they have long forgotten this idea. Not to mention anything else, just the group of 8th level cultivators in the river crab territory would be enough to tangle with them if they attack together. Time accelerates 20 times. At the same time, they were also shocked that the river crab territory actually had an attribute plane, and that this attribute plane could accelerate time 20 times. In addition, during this period, they also received some power of faith from Chen Ronghuo that was purified by black dogs. After getting that kind of pure power of faith, they all felt numb. They all believed that the He Crab leader, who had so many trump cards, would definitely be able to become a behemoth that would shock the entire God's continent in the future if it concentrated on development. In addition, I am calling everyone here this time, and there is one more thing I want to announce. Chen Ronghuo continued to speak. One more thing. Everyone's expressions froze, knowing that Chen Ronghuo said it deliberately. Obviously, what he said next was very important. Everyone must be aware of the chaos in the Black Demon Palace in the Demon-Sealed Land, but now, not only the Black Demon Palace, but also the forces of the Dark Demon Palace have penetrated into our Bihai area. Not long ago, the White Dragon King Island was destroyed and the Aurora King Island was attacked, all because of the forces under the command of the Black Demon Tiangong. There are 2 main groups of Black Devil Heavenly Palace forces that have penetrated into Bihai. One group is a subordinate force of the Black Demon Heavenly Palace, 2 sects, 3 leaders, and the Slaughter Temple among the 4 palaces. One force is led by the former Black Demon Lord's half-step pillar god-level god general, Gadot Snake Mother. When Chen Ronghuo said this, he paused and continued. Now that the gods are gone, and the Lord of Darkness is about to be born again, I believe you all know that there is not much time left for us in the River Crab Leader. So I decided that next, I will do everything possible to plunder resources and strengthen myself. After Chen Ronghuo finished speaking, There was a slight silence in the venue. The elders such as Wang Chao and others who have followed Chen Ronghuo all the way to where he is today are aware of Chen Ronghuo's cultivation speed and his own potential. But this time, they were facing a powerful force like the Black Demon Tiangong, who had fought against the gods and wanted to destroy the world. As for the alliance of 5 factions who are more aware of the power of the Black Demon Heavenly Palace, there is no need to mention it. This time, they moved from the demon-sealed land to the continent of the gods. Their original intention was to escape from the war-torn land. But they didn't expect that when they arrived at the continent of the gods, they discovered that there was no pure land in this world. Lord, I wonder what your next plan is. The blue-eyed holy thunder beast asked. He crab territory, captured the white tiger territory before, which must have attracted the attention of all the forces in Bihai. Next, I want to keep a low profile, but it is impossible to keep a low profile. So I decided to set off immediately to the Black Dragon territory. Heading to the Black Dragon territory? Everyone was shocked when they heard Chen Ronghuo's words. It is good that the Black Dragon territory and the White Tiger territory are forces of the same level, but they have just won the White Tiger territory, and now they are about to win the Black Dragon territory. That is really too high profile. But everyone also knew that after what Chen Ronghuo said before, it was obvious that this matter could no longer be changed. After a short time, the big river crab, who received Chen Ronghuo's order, turned into a tyrant in the sea and rushed towards the Black Dragon's territory. While he was moving in the sea, Dahi Crab felt a little depressed. After all, it still failed to possess the combat power of a 9th-level cultivator before this battle came. As a result, in the next battle, it would obviously have to watch the fat cat pretending in front of its eyes. Hoo ho ho. It was panting and breathing in a strange way. Now, in addition to wanting to improve its cultivation, it also wants to cultivate as soon as possible a secret technique called Big and Small Ruyi recorded in the Inheritance of the God of Power. This is a secret technique that can temporarily make its size larger. Of course, at some critical moments, it can also be reduced in size. Now, it has realized some of the disadvantages of being too big. For example, facing the threats from the Aurora King Island and the Black Devil Heavenly Palace, if it can reduce its size, it can enter the world of river crabs. In this way, as long as it is hidden, who else can find it? It can even open a 2-realm passage between the continent of gods and the land of demons. Chen Ronghuo and others stood on the back of the big river crab, facing the wind. Not long ago, they arrived at the White Tiger territory, and this time, they wanted to capture the Black Dragon territory, which was at the same level as the White Tiger territory. Ancestor Black Whale. Chen Ronghuo half squinted his eyes. Not only did he want to capture the Black Dragon territory, but he also wanted to capture the Black Whale ancestor who was invited by the White Tiger Duke to intercept the Black Dragon Duke. According to his calculations, the Black Whale ancestor was actually in the Black Dragon territory at this time. However, this not only did not stop him from going to the Black Dragon territory, but it also made him more determined to capture the Black Dragon territory quickly. While thinking this, Chen Ronghuo separated a trace of consciousness and fell into the inner space of the ancient book. As he broke through to the 9th level this time, his mastery of ancient books also reached a deeper level. At the same time, due to his improvement in cultivation, the things he can deduce using ancient books have become more abundant. What just made him shake his head a little was. He lowered his consciousness to the last ceiling pillar in the inner space of the ancient book, only to see it vibrating continuously, as if something was about to rush out from inside. But it seems that the sealing power of the last seal page of the ancient book is extremely powerful, so until now, the things sealed inside have not been able to break out. Looking at it like this, it should take a few more days. Chen Ronghuo was a little helpless. Every time a sealed page is opened in the ancient book, it will bring him unimaginable gains. These sealed objects, no matter who they are given to, can make them rise rapidly in a short period of time. Therefore, Chen Ronghuo is also looking forward to the last sealed object sealed in the ancient book and wants to see what it is. Brother Whale, how have you been staying in my territory these 2 days? In the Black Dragon territory, the Black Dragon Grand Duke smiled and asked a burly man with dark skin and more than 4 meters tall beside him. This big man is the ancestor of the black whale who has transformed into a human form and has lived for hundreds of thousands of years. Not bad. The black whale ancestor grabbed a piece of unknown animal meat leg on the table with his hands, and began to bite into it without caring about his own image. However, you said that Chen Ronghuo from the river crab leader would really come to trouble you. While eating, the black whale ancestor raised his head and asked. I don't know. The black dragon duke shook his head, while a hint of deep thought flashed in his eyes. I don't have any deep grudge against him, but it never hurts to be on guard. But you helped the white tiger Grand Duke intercept me before. If he digests the gains from killing the white tiger Grand Duke this time, it is unknown whether he will cause trouble for you. So if Brother Jing doesn't mind it, it's best and safest to stay here with me for the next period of time. This time, his backer, the White Dragon territory, was destroyed by the Black Demon Palace, and he immediately became a lone wolf. So he thought of this way, leaving the Black Whale ancestor in his territory. No matter what, the Black Whale ancestor is also a 9th level cultivator. If he really encounters something, he can be taken care of. In addition, he has been trying to find a new backer in the past 2 days. As for whether Chen Ronghuo will come to trouble him, he didn't even think about it. Now the North Sea area is in turmoil. He believed that as long as Chen Ronghuo had a little brain, he should not come to him in a high-profile manner at this time after just killing the White Tiger Grand Duke. What's more, he and Chen Ronghuo did not have any deep hatred. When the Black Whale Patriarch heard what the Black Dragon Grand Duke said, he bit a piece of bone to pieces with a snap, and a bit of ferocity appeared on his face. Humph. It's not that I, the Black Whale, am afraid of Chen Ronghuo, but I can't use some of my methods easily. But if Chen Ronghuo really dares to trouble me, I will let him know that the anger of my Black Whale is not so easy to bear. Boom. At this moment, a loud noise suddenly sounded from outside. It was as if some huge creature had crashed into the Black Dragon Islands. Even though the entire Black Dragon Islands were protected by formations, most areas still shook after the collision, as if there was an earthquake. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 468. Chen. Wrong. Fire. The Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale ancestor raised their heads at the same time. At this moment, the two of them had already radiated the power of their souls and captured a large river crab that hit the Black Dragon Islands. At the same time, they naturally discovered Chen Ronghuo and others standing on the back of the big river crab. Both of them were angry. Unexpectedly, Chen Ronghuo, who the two of them were discussing just now, would be so bold as to attack the Black Dragon Islands. What a courage! A gloomy look appeared on the face of the Black Dragon Grand Duke. Chen Ronghuo was able to kill the White Tiger Grand Duke because the White Tiger Grand Duke was not in his territory. Now that Chen Ronghuo has landed on the Black Dragon Islands without any reason, does he treat him as the White Tiger Grand Duke back then? The Black Dragon Duke took a deep breath. Near his own territory, he can display strength comparable to that of a late 9th level cultivator. And the strength Chen Ronghuo showed that day was only at the late 9th level. But at this moment, the Black Dragon Grand Duke suddenly had a thought and glanced at the Black Whale ancestor aside. Brother Whale. Did you see it? This Chen Ronghuo is too arrogant and domineering. I didn't have much hatred against him, but he actually came to cause trouble for me. I estimate that if he really destroys our Black Dragon Islands, it will be your turn next. The Black Whale ancestor naturally knew that the Black Dragon Grand Duke wanted him to fight Chen Ronghui together with him. However, What the Black Dragon Grand Duke said seemed reasonable to him. So as soon as his mind moved, he said, I understand what you mean. In this way, you fight him first while I look for his flaws in secret. Once I find his flaw, I will take action and kill him with you. He doesn't know that I'm here with you, so he won't be too defensive. This is an opportunity. Otherwise, if we attack together, he will see that the situation is wrong. If he wants to escape, we may not be able to keep him. Good. The Black Dragon Duke nodded, with a hint of excitement on his face. He originally thought that Chen Ronghuo was a scourge, but now that Chen Ronghuo came when the Black Whale Ancestor was with him, if he couldn't find a way to keep Chen Ronghuo here, he would be sorry for Chen Ronghuo's suicide. With this thought in mind, he moved out of his lord's mansion and arrived above the Black Dragon Islands. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Every powerful man from the Black Dragon Islands rose into the air and landed around the Black Dragon Archduke. Among them, Ning Yun, who not long ago informed the Slaughter Temple about Hexy Island, was also among them. Ning Yun's face turned ugly when he saw that Chen Ronghuo actually drove Hexy Island to the Black Dragon Islands. He was originally waiting for the Killing Temple to take action and take over Hexy Island so that he could get the reward from the Killing Temple. But he didn't expect that before the Killing Temple could take action, Chen Ronghuo actually arrived at the Black Dragon Islands first. Especially when he looked at Chen Ronghuo, he found that Chen Ronghuo was also staring at him, and he couldn't help but feel his scalp numb, as if he was being targeted by some kind of great terror. Chen Ronghuo, I, Heilong Island, have no enmity with you, Heilong Island. Even when the White Tiger Archduke attacked your Heiji Island, I helped you, Heijia Island. But now, you actually drove Heilong Island to hit my Heilong Island, trying to do what? At this time, the Black Dragon Grand Duke suddenly shouted, appearing extremely righteous. His voice rolled out and turned into ripples, creating huge waves that swept towards He Crab Island. It's just that this huge wave suddenly stopped motionless after hitting a few hundred meters in front of the big river crab. There is indeed no enmity between you and me on Black Dragon Island, but I have a grudge against the Black Whale Ancestor who helped Grand Duke White Tiger. A faint smile appeared on Chen Ronghuo's face. As long as you hand over the Black Whale Ancestor today, I took the people away immediately. Otherwise, I really doubt that you, the White Tiger Archduke, and the Black Whale were working together to plot against me. Black Whale Ancestor? How does he know that the Black Whale Ancestor is here? When the Black Dragon Archduke heard this, his expression immediately condensed. Logically speaking, not many people should know about the Black Whale Ancestor's affairs in his Black Dragon Islands. Are you bluffing me? The Black Dragon Grand Duke took a deep breath. Chen Ronghuo, you are trying to put a hat on my head. Although I know the Black Whale Ancestor, I am not familiar with him. How could he be in our Black Dragon Islands? If you want to find an excuse to take over my Black Dragon Islands, then just do it. My Black Dragon has never been afraid of anyone. What he said was extremely domineering. This time Chen Ronghuo came, just in time. The Black Whale Ancestor was also here, so he had made up his mind to keep Chen Ronghuo here forever and get rid of a big harm. But after he finished speaking, Chen Ronghuo smiled and waved his hand. Since you said so, I will give you a face, do it. Boom. As Chen Ronghuo spoke, the big river crab moved, and suddenly hit the Black Dragon Islands with a loud bang. At this time, the entire Black Dragon Islands was wrapped in a huge blue-black protective formation. As the big river crab collided, the entire formation suddenly shook. Today's big river crab's cultivation has broken through to the mid-8th level not long ago, and its true strength has reached the peak of the 8th level. Boom boom boom. Under the continuous impact of the big river crabs, the protective formations arranged on the periphery of the Black Dragon Islands soon showed an unstable trend. You're going too far. Seeing this scene, the Black Dragon Duke's face immediately darkened. I didn't expect that Chen Ronghuo would start fighting right away. His body shook, and the power in his body exploded. He used the blood law and turned into a black dragon thousands of meters long in the blink of an eye. He was not a tiger beast like the white tiger, but he could also turn into a blood beast by using the blood law. In fact, with Chen Ronghuo's current strength, if he wanted, he could also turn into a huge tiger. After the black dragon was transformed, the black dragon prince immediately stretched out his dragon claws, grabbed out of the clouds, and went straight to Chen Ronghuo and the big river crab below. At this time, he guessed in his heart that Chen Ronghuo was probably just looking for an excuse to annex his Black Dragon Island like he annexed the White Tiger Island. So he used all his strength as soon as he made a move, and even burned the power of faith. With the blessing of the power of faith, its black-scaled dragon claws flashed with a cold light, like a terrifying beast from ancient times, with a tyrannical and boundless force, and with a bang, it arrived in front of Chen Ronghuo. As for the protective formation that blocked the big river crab before, it had spontaneously broken when the Black Dragon Duke attacked. Facing the attack of the Black Dragon Duke, Chen Ronghuo's eyes shone with divine light. Without dodging or evading, he raised his hand and punched out. His punch perfectly matched the true meaning of breaking all laws with one force, without any complicated changes, just a strong force coming straight. But after the punch, the Black Dragon Duke's extended dragon claws seemed to collide with an ancient sacred mountain, shaking violently, and the pain was instantly transmitted to the whole body. 9th level, Peak. After the blow, the Black Dragon Duke took a few steps back, and then opened his mouth in astonishment, revealing an incredible look. Chen Ronghuo's strength was not the late 9th level as he thought, but comparable to the peak of the 9th level. With such strength, even if he and the Black Whale ancestor joined forces, they would not be the opponent. When the Black Dragon Grand Duke was shocked, Chen Ronghuo's expression did not change much. This time, when he was about to attack the Black Dragon Grand Duke, he did not intend to hide his strength. With the Black Dragon Grand Duke's strength comparable to that of a late-stage 9th Order cultivator, if he hid his strength, he would definitely not be able to defeat the Black Dragon Grand Duke. You and I have no grudges, but you took in the Black Whale ancestor who has a grudge against me. How can I let you go? After gaining the upper hand with one blow, Chen Ronghuo immediately shouted and put pressure on the Black Dragon Grand Duke, but I can give you a chance. As long as you hand over the Black Whale ancestor and join my Crab Island, I can spare your life. As soon as he finished speaking, he flashed and entered the Black Dragon Islands. The black and red robe on him moved without wind, making him exude a heroic temperament like a big devil. In any case, the Black Dragon Grand Duke is also a mid-stage 9th Order cultivator. If possible, Chen Ronghuo didn't mind subduing the Black Dragon Duke. This would obviously bring him more benefits than directly killing the Black Dragon Duke. You're looking for death. Boom. Suddenly, just after Chen Ronghuo finished speaking, before the Black Dragon Duke could refuse, a black-faced man suddenly rushed out from the Black Dragon territory. After the man rushed out, his 4-meter-tall body exploded, and then he turned into a dark whale several thousand meters long. After the whale appeared, it immediately opened its mouth, and a terrifying suction force came out from it, aiming at Chen Ronghuo and the big river crab in the distance. It was actually going to swallow Chen Ronghuo and the big river crab into its stomach. Noisy. The rolling suction force acted on Chen Ronghuo, and Chen Ronghuo frowned, and a ray of light suddenly shot out of his eyes, and then he raised his hand and clasped it. The huge palm became even bigger than the body of the whale. It extended infinitely, like an endless mountain range, and with a bang, it smashed on the back of the giant whale, smashing him into the empty sea in the middle of the Black Dragon Islands. After the blow, the Black Whale ancestor was completely stunned. His strength in the middle stage of the 9th level was definitely not weak, but he did not expect that Chen Ronghuo would deal with him so easily. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 469. Not here. When Chen Ronghuo attacked the Black Dragon territory, two figures shrouded in black robes turned into black light and arrived at the White Tiger Islands. After arriving here, they looked around and unexpectedly found that there was no trace of Chen Ronghuo and the Crab territory. The Lord asked us to come here to take the attribute plane of the Crab territory. Now the Crab territory is not here, what should we do? A man in black robe said in a deep voice. Let's investigate first to see where they went. The Crab territory is so big, no matter where they go, there is no way they will not make a sound. Another man in black said after a moment of silence. Boom. Just then, a violent loud noise suddenly sounded from a distance. The two men in black were startled when they heard the noise. They raised their heads and looked into the distance. It's the Black Dragon territory. Could it be that Chen Ronghuo, who just took down the White Tiger territory, took his Crab territory to attack the Black Dragon territory again? A man in black showed an incredible look on his face. It seemed a little unbelievable that Chen Ronghuo was so bold. You know, not long ago, their slaughter god temple had just taken over the White Dragon Island. The entire North Sea was in turmoil during this period, and all forces acted cautiously. Chen Ronghuo was so bold, wasn't he afraid of being targeted by their slaughter god temple? If you want to know what's going on, just go and see, won't you know? Another man in black sneered, and then he spread his body and turned into a stream of light, flying straight to the direction of the Black Dragon Islands. The man in black who spoke before saw this scene, and immediately spread his body and followed closely. When the two moved, they immediately revealed a hint of powerful momentum. Such a change in momentum, each one was not weaker than Chen Ronghuo at this time. Black Dragon Islands. The scene where Chen Ronghuo turned his hand upside down and knocked down the Black Whale ancestor with one blow made everyone in the Black Dragon Islands stagnate. Coupled with the fact that Chen Ronghuo had just beaten the Black Dragon Duke back, everyone on the Black Dragon Island felt a chill in their hearts. Knowing that this time, their Black Dragon Islands had ushered in the greatest crisis in history. In the past, there was the White Dragon King Island, and no powerful strong man dared to provoke the Black Dragon Islands. But now that the White Dragon King Island has fallen, it is no longer the same as before. The people are already here, what else do you have to say? Chen Ronghuo stood in the void, glanced at the Black Whale ancestor, and then set his eyes on the Black Dragon Duke. His momentum soared, stirring up the nearby void. The Black Dragon Duke looked ugly. He knew that Chen Ronghuo was accumulating momentum. Once Chen Ronghuo accumulated his momentum to the peak, what he would bear next would be an unimaginable blow from Chen Ronghuo. The Black Whale ancestor below had already flown up again at this time. He saw that the Black Dragon Duke was silent, and his face was a little stiff. Chen Ronghuo's strength was beyond his expectation. If the Black Dragon Grand Duke gave up on him, he would definitely not be able to escape death this time. Black Dragon, you don't really believe his lies, do you? This man is greedy by nature. If I die here, he will not let you go. Then you will be alone and can only kneel down and beg for mercy, the Black Whale Patriarch shouted coldly. I have a secret technique that can bring out the combat power of a late-stage 9th Order cultivator. If you and I join forces, he will not be our opponent. When the words fell, a hint of ferocity appeared on the face of the Black Whale Patriarch. He does have such a secret method that can greatly enhance his strength. But the price of using this secret technique is that from now on, he will never be able to transform into a human form again. At the same time, this secret technique can only be used once in a lifetime. So since he practiced it, he has never activated this secret technique. As his mind turned, he activated the secret technique without waiting for the Black Dragon Grand Duke's consent, and with a bang, he enlarged his already large body by another circle, exuding a destructive aura. Especially in its open mouth, the vortex swirled, as if communicating with another world. It can swallow everything into its stomach. Good. Seeing the changes in the Black Whale ancestor, the Black Dragon Grand Duke's eyes lit up slightly. He could sense that the Black Whale ancestor's aura had soared a lot more than before. The Black Whale ancestor was now comparable to him. Although the 9th level peak cultivator was powerful, with the Black Whale ancestor performing the secret technique, he could exert the same combat power as the 9th level late cultivator. If the two of them were together, unless Chen Ronghuo had a more powerful combat power hidden, it would be impossible to capture his Black Dragon Islands this time. The Black Dragon Islands were his hard work. How could he give it up just because of a few words from Chen Ronghuo? Have you discussed it? Hearing the two discussing how to deal with the enemy in front of him, Chen Ronghuo smiled coldly, and his momentum finally accumulated to the peak. Since you have discussed it, then take my attack. Chen Ronghuo straightened his body, like an unshakable mountain, stretching across the void. In the blink of an eye, he changed from less than 2 meters tall to several thousand meters tall, not smaller than the Black Dragon ancestor in the distance. As his body grew bigger, his two arms shook, and the muscles on them bulged, like hills, highlighting infinite power. The next moment, he suddenly stretched out his two big hands at the same time, one on the left and one on the right, grabbing the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale ancestor in front of him respectively. It was like a void demon god, capturing and killing the ancient beast. Roar! The Black Dragon Duke roared, and his claws drew a graceful arc in the void, pulling the laws of heaven and earth, converging and blessing on the deep dragon claws. As a claw swung out, the speed became faster and faster. Finally, with a bang, it actually broke through the space, and then passed through from the other end of the space, surrounded Wei to save Zhao, and directly grabbed Chen Ronghuo's body that had grown to several thousand meters in size. It seemed that he wanted to hollow out Chen Ronghuo with one claw. At the same time, the Black Whale ancestor, whose body had grown a circle, also roared, opened his mouth again, and aimed at Chen Ronghuo's body from a distance. Unlike the previous time, in the distance, when the Black Whale ancestor opened his mouth, Chen Ronghuo immediately felt a powerful locking force, locking his body in the void, making it difficult for him to move. The Black Whale ancestor, like the two sea and sky birds he contracted, comprehended the laws of space. It's just that the spatial law that the Black Whale ancestor comprehended is biased towards devouring and locking, while the spatial law that the two sea and sky divine birds comprehended is biased towards attacking and moving. Chen Ronghuo narrowed his eyes slightly. Normally, a 9th level peak cultivator can fight two 9th level late cultivators. He had just broken through to the 9th level, but he only had the combat power of a 9th level peak cultivator, so he was no exception. Therefore, facing the siege of the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale ancestor, who were comparable to the combat power of 9th level late cultivators, even he felt a strong pressure at this moment. Meow. Suddenly, a cat's cry exploded in the void and spread to everyone's ears. When the cat's cry sounded, the Black Dragon Grand Duke, who was incarnated as a black dragon and waved his deep dragon claws to kill Chen Ronghuo, suddenly froze. Like a deer eating grass, he heard a lion roaring in his ear, and his whole body trembled. As his pupils expanded, a small orange-yellow figure quickly crossed the void and appeared above his head in a flash. This orange-yellow figure was the Fat Cat. The Fat Cat could restrain dragon and tiger demons. Although the Black Dragon Duke was not a demon, he practiced the bloodline law, and the bloodline he condensed was still the Black Dragon bloodline, which was also restrained by the Fat Cat. When the Black Dragon Duke's expression was stiff, Chen Ronghuo's big hand had already fallen with a bang, hitting the Black Dragon Duke and the Black Whale ancestor in the distance. Directly knocked the Black Dragon Duke and the Black Whale ancestor down from the void. The attack launched by the Black Dragon Duke on Chen Ronghuo, because of the Fat Cat, had already reduced by 30% to 40% when it reached Chen Ronghuo's body. And such a powerful attack, after hitting Chen Ronghuo, only made Chen Ronghuo's body move, and there was no reaction at all. As for the lock of the black whale ancestor on Chen Ronghuo, he also broke it when he grabbed the black whale ancestor with one claw. Boom! The black dragon Grand Duke and the black whale ancestor both fell into the sea. Their huge bodies, like mountains, immediately stirred up thousands of hectares of waves after falling into the sea. After the sea water was stirred up, it fell down again. The large sea area inside was all covered with drifting rain. This cat, the black dragon Grand Duke, had a stiff expression. The last time Chen Ronghuo killed the white tiger Grand Duke, he knew about the fat cat. At that time, the strength shown by the fat cat was only the late 8th level. So he didn't care too much. And now, when Chen Ronghuo made a move, he had already exposed his cultivation. The middle 9th level. This strength is already equal to that of him and the black whale ancestor. But the most important thing is that the fat cat fell on his head after making a move, and it has not come down until now. Are you convinced? The fat cat carried its 2 front paws on its back and stood on the head of the black dragon Duke with its 2 hind legs like a human. When the black dragon Duke struggled to fly out of the sea, it shook its feet and emitted a strange force, which was transmitted to the black dragon Duke's dragon head. This force was not obvious, but it was very strange. It directly penetrated into the depths of the black dragon Duke's soul, causing it to tremble. It felt like its whole body was about to fall apart. The black dragon Duke's dragon head swung, revealing a ferocious look. It was actually written on its head by a cat demon. It was really intolerable. But as soon as its dragon head moved, the fat cat stomped its feet again. Are you still not convinced? After this stomp, the black dragon Duke suddenly felt his brain go blank, and in a trance, it seemed as if his soul was about to fly out of his mind. It was shocked in its heart, and its soul was coming out. It hurriedly performed the secret technique of stabilizing the soul to stabilize its soul. But at this time, the weirdness of the fat cat had completely turned into a shadow, filling its mind. If you don't obey, I will stomp you to death. Pa pa pa. The fat cat raised his left foot, stepped on the head of the black dragon with his right foot, raised his right foot, and continued to step down with his left foot. His feet were linked, like dancing. In this posture, it showed a small piece of fluffy white hair on its belly, with a graceful posture, and it seemed to be fascinated by this action. His eyes gradually narrowed, sometimes lightly and sometimes heavily, making the black dragon feel like he had become immortal, stepped into the clouds, and if he was not careful, he would fall and die on the spot. When the black whale ancestor in the distance saw this scene, his heart immediately sank to the bottom of the valley. Beforehand, he and the black dragon had not thought that in addition to Chen Ronghuo, there was actually a second 9th level combat force in the river crab territory. Especially this fat cat, it seemed to be able to restrain the black dragon Grand Duke, making the black dragon Grand Duke only exert a few tenths of his strength. It pulled the whale body out of the sea with a bang, turned its head, and wanted to leave this dangerous place. It was scared. It was really scared. But as soon as it moved, Chen Ronghuo, who had expected it, flashed and blocked it. At this time, Chen Ronghuo's body was as tall as a towering mountain. His huge eyes stared at the black whale ancestor, with a hint of bloodthirsty violence. You fell into my hands, and you still want to escape. As he spoke, he slapped his big hand down, like a huge black cloud, covering the sky and the sun, and with a bang, he knocked the black whale ancestor into the sea again. Chen Ronghuo, do you really want to kill us all? At this time, the black dragon Grand Duke finally recovered a trace of consciousness in the fat cat's mess, and roared madly. Kill them all, Chen Ronghuo smiled. He retracted his 2 big hands and rubbed them in front of him. You two are quite strong. If you are willing to submit to me, I can spare you 2 once. There are still many gaps in his 33 days of soul suppression. The black dragon Grand Duke and the black whale ancestor are both quite strong, and it is worth him to use the secret technique to completely control them. After Chen Ronghuo finished speaking, the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor fell silent. In the silence of the two, Chen Ronghuo set his eyes on the Black Whale Ancestor. You cast this ancient giant whale technique, which is incomplete. After casting it, although your strength will increase greatly in a short period of time, you will never be able to transform into a human form afterwards. And from now on, you will never be able to cast this secret technique again. Through the identification technique of ancient books, Chen Ronghuo had already identified the current state of the Black Whale Ancestor. Knowing that at this time, there was a strange force in the body of the Black Whale Ancestor that was entangled with his soul, making it difficult for him to transform into a human form from now on. Chen Ronghuo said lightly, I have a secret technique that can help you eliminate the sequelae of your ancient giant whale technique. I can even help you perfect this secret technique so that you can use it at will in the future. The Black Whale Ancestor is extremely powerful. If it weren't for the fat cat who was able to restrain the Black Dragon Grand Duke, with the strength of the Black Whale Ancestor, he would not be able to easily defeat him with the Black Dragon Grand Duke. In fact, although he seemed to have easily knocked the Black Whale Ancestor into the sea with his two palms just now, in fact, the Black Whale Ancestor did not suffer too serious injuries after receiving these two palms. If the Black Whale Ancestor is unwilling to surrender, Chen Ronghuo will have to spend some means to kill it. Hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, the Black Whale Ancestor's breathing suddenly became heavy. Chen Ronghuo's proposal to help it eliminate the sequelae of the ancient giant whale technique and to help it perfect this secret technique really made it excited. But thinking about the Black Whale Ancestor who had been free and unrestrained for tens of thousands of years, how could he surrender to others just because of these two conditions? Hoo. The Black Whale Ancestor was panting violently. White mist rushed into the sky from the water blowhole on his head. It looked at Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo was too strong. Although its strength has skyrocketed now, it has no confidence to escape from Chen Ronghuo. So now for it is not a question of the sequelae of the ancient giant whale technique. It is a question of survival and freedom. At this moment, the fat cat, who was standing firmly on the head of the Black Dragon Duke, suddenly became arrogant and screamed, "Dawdle, my master has limited time, I only ask you one question, do you choose to surrender or choose death?" It can be clearly seen that the fat cat's cat face showed a bit of impatience. It looked at the Black Dragon Duke below, and then at the Black Whale Ancestor in the distance, with a hint of threat. It seemed to be saying, I, fat cat, have already taken action myself, and you are still hesitating. Are you not giving me face? In its opinion, it would be too embarrassing if it could not catch the crab easily after taking action personally. It glanced at the big river crab in the distance from the corner of its eyes, and it seemed to have seen that big guy laughing at its incompetence. I, fat cat, don't let others laugh at me. Snap! 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 It stepped hard on the head of the Black Dragon Duke several times again with one foot after another to relieve the hatred in its heart. The Black Dragon Duke's face was faintly pale, and the dragon head was completely drooped down, like a big black donkey with low spirits. At the same time, the Black Whale Ancestor on the other side also took a long breath and chose to save his life first between freedom and life. It raised its head, Lord Chen, are you sure you can eliminate the sequelae of my use of the ancient giant whale technique? Of course. Chen Ronghuo smiled. For the sequelae of the Black Whale Ancestor's use of the ancient giant whale technique, he only needed to use the power of his left hand to take out all the alien energy lingering in its body. It didn't take much effort at all. When Chen Ronghuo heard the Black Whale Ancestor ask this, he knew that he would probably be able to add one or two more generals this time. Even if the Black Whale Ancestor and the Black Dragon Grand Duke surrendered to him, they would definitely feel uncomfortable. But Chen Ronghuo didn't mind it. After he subdued the two, he could completely control them with the 33 days soul calming technique. There is another chapter in the evening, it will be later, I will try my best to write more and make up for the 8,000 words that were not enough yesterday. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 470. You all know what is going on in Bihai now. Even if you don't join our river crab territory now, even if I let you go this time, you will have to join other forces sooner or later. Chen Ronghuo looked at the Black Dragon Archduke and the Black Whale Ancestor in the distance, and analyzed the pros and cons for the two of them. Even if you can find a King Island as a backing, it may not be safe. The White Dragon King Island can fall, and other King Islands will fall. Wouldn't it? And even if you join other King Islands will probably treat you as cannon fodder. But if you join our He Crab territory, this will not happen. As Chen Ronghuo spoke, the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor fell silent again. The fat cat standing on the back of the Black Dragon Archduke curled his lips, and the impatient look on his face became more obvious. These two big guys are not as big as a river crab. They are really uninteresting. Isn't it obvious what you just said? Or are you taking my words as deaf ears? It decided that even if the two of them join the river crab territory later, it would still let them know that my fat cat would not be ignored. Snap! 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 Thinking like this, it raised its foot again and stepped hard on the dragon head of the Black Dragon Archduke a few times. The Black Dragon Grand Duke's expression froze. Only then did he remember that there was such an ancestor above his head. After such a long time, he had actually tried to use his strength to knock the fat cat off his head. But no matter what method he used, he found that the fat cat was standing on top of his head, motionless, as if it had taken root, leaving him helpless. He couldn't figure out where this cat came from and why it was so powerful. On the Black Dragon Islands in the distance, nearly 10 8th-level powerhouses and countless practitioners from the Black Dragon territory looked at the scene from a distance, and their hearts were cold. Some of them had blood-red eyes when they saw the Black Dragon Duke being insulted. However, due to the huge gap in strength, no one dared to step forward. The concept that the world of gods respects the strong is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. The dozen or so 8th-level cultivators from the Black Dragon territory all knew that if they and others stepped forward, they would be killed by Chen Ronghuo in a few rounds. As for cultivators below the 8th level, if they come up, Chen Ronghuo will deal with them as easily as chopping melons and vegetables. At this time, Black Whale Ancestor gritted his teeth and suddenly said, "Okay, since Lord Chen sincerely invites you, then from now on, I, Black Whale, will only obey Lord Chen's orders." When he said these words, his black whale face showed a faint blush, as if he felt extremely embarrassed. Before Chen Ronghuo arrived, it was still bragging to the Black Dragon Grand Duke, bragging that if Chen Ronghuo caused trouble for him, it would let Chen Ronghuo know that it was not easy to mess with. But he didn't expect that now, it would actually be under Chen Ronghuo's command. Haha! Hearing the words of the Black Whale Ancestor, Chen Ronghuo laughed immediately and responded in a dignified manner, "Black Whale Ancestor, it is also a blessing for our river crab leader that you can join our river crab leader. Chen needs your help today. It can be said to be even more powerful." Hearing what Chen Ronghuo said, the Black Whale Ancestor's face looked a little better. At this time, the Black Dragon Grand Duke was stepped on by the fat cat in the distance. After seeing that the Black Whale Ancestor had given up struggling, he sighed in his heart, raised his dragon head and said, "In this case, I, the Black Dragon, would also like to follow Chen with brother Black Whale. Lord, join the river crab territory." As Duke Heilong finished speaking, the smile on Chen Ronghuo's face became even brighter. "Okay, you follow me today, and I will live up to your expectations in the future." As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a wisp of fire attribute spiritual energy fell into the surrounding seawater, evaporating the seawater into a large surging mist. After the water mist obscured the sight of the people around him, Chen Ronghuo appeared in front of the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor with a smile on his face. He pinched the secret in his hand and used the 33-day soul-suppressing technique. At the same time, he separated two strands of soul origin, each of which turned into a strange black mark, which he held in his hand. "You too, please." The Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor looked at each other, with wry smiles in their eyes. It's just that Chen Ronghuo subdued the two of them this time and used means to control them, but this is also the meaning of the question. Call out! Call out! Seeing that neither of them resisted, Chen Ronghuo made a move and put two marks into their souls. As the 33-day soul-suppressing seal merged, Chen Ronghuo immediately felt a large wave of the law of tribulation, feeding back to him from between heaven and earth. It's finally done. Chen Ronghuo sighed quietly. With the breath of these laws of calamity, he can quickly break through from the early 9th level to the middle 9th level, and his strength will be further enhanced. Nowadays, in the world of gods, various incidents occur frequently and changes occur one after another. Only by increasing one's own strength is the right way. With this thought in mind, he waved his hand and dispersed the water mist surrounding him. The Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor appeared in front of everyone again. Everyone in the Black Dragon Islands did not know what happened in the mist just now. Only a few people on Hexy Island had some vague guesses in their minds. If I, the Fat Cat, take action, I will definitely succeed. At this time, Fat Cat had returned to He Crab Island. It was walking around He Crab Island with a proud smile on its cat steps, walking slowly and unhurriedly so that everyone could see clearly. Everyone on Hexy Island had a straight face and did not dare to laugh at Fat Mao. Even when the Fat Cat looked at them, some people had to smile back, which made the Fat Cat even more proud. He thought that his performance just now must be perfect. So he walked more vigorously with cat steps, swaying 3 steps at a time on the River Crab Island, showing his fat but elegant figure in front of everyone. Especially when he walked to the head of the big river crab, he slowed down his pace. Puff puff puff. The big river crab buried its head in the water, chewing stones while spitting out bubbles of different sizes, not looking at the Fat Cat. At the same time, the people of the 5 factions alliance who had been paying attention to this battle shook their heads and smiled bitterly after seeing Chen Ronghuo's strength. Chen Ronghuo's strength simply refreshed their cognition again and again. Every time they thought they had seen through Chen Ronghuo, they found that in the blink of an eye, as if by accident, Chen Ronghuo became stronger again. They originally thought that this time Chen Ronghuo came directly to the territory of the Black Dragon Grand Duke to deal with the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch together, and they would need their help. But they didn't expect that from the beginning of the battle to the complete subjugation of the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch, Chen Ronghuo didn't even use them to intervene. But what they didn't know was that Chen Ronghuo himself was actually a little surprised about this. He knew that Fat Cat could restrain the Black Dragon Grand Duke, but before that, he didn't expect that Fat Cat would be so strong in restraining the Black Dragon Grand Duke after breaking through to the middle stage of the 9th level. He was able to stand on the head of the Black Dragon Grand Duke and completely suppress the Black Dragon Grand Duke when the Black Dragon Grand Duke had already burned the power of faith. In this way, with his strength, it would be no problem to fight against the Black Whale Patriarch alone. Whoosh! Whoosh! Suddenly, at this moment, 2 figures wrapped in black robes, one in front and one behind, like 2 black lightning, suddenly shot from a distance and landed more than 10 miles away from the river crab territory. Although more than 10 miles is not close, for a cultivator of Chen Ronghuo's level, it can be crossed in the blink of an eye. You come so fast. Chen Ronghuo was awed and set his eyes on the newcomer. Luck 13, Lu 14, 9th level peak cultivators. Identity, Senior Divine Envoy of the Lu Temple. Qualification, 9. Secret skills, God-killing heavenly art, heart of killing, invasion of killing intent. God-killing envoys are cultivators cultivated in batches by the God-killing temple in a special way. The God-killing temple can spend a lot of resources to quickly cultivate God-killing envoys comparable to low-level God-level cultivators in this way. After identifying the person, Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the God-killing temple would set its sights on him so quickly. Just by looking at the eyes of Killing 13 and Killing 14 as soon as they came, Chen Ronghuo knew that the two of them were coming for him this time. With the strength of Killing 13 and Killing 14, if he had killed the White Tiger Duke before, he would definitely have no chance of winning. This time, the God-killing temple sent out two high-level cultivators who had reached the peak of the 9th level. The God envoy was obviously determined to take him down. But Chen Ronghuo set his eyes on Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi, with a strong brilliance in his eyes. He gained a lot from subduing the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor. But this time, at most, he could break through to the middle stage of the 9th stage. Even if he broke through to the middle stage of the 9th stage, he might not be a match for a demigod-level warrior. However, if he could take down Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi, and use the breath of the Law of Calamity he got from taking down the two, he might be able to break through to the late stage of the 9th stage. By then, with his strength, he might be able to compete with ordinary demigod-level warriors. Thinking of this in his heart, Chen Ronghuo's eyes became brighter and brighter. Looking at the two of them, it was as if he was looking at a great fortune. Chen Ronghuo. At this time, Lu Shizhen had already set his sights on Chen Ronghuo. He looked at Chen Ronghuo, raised his head slightly, and revealed a pale face under the cloak. This face was very white and clean. But at this time, it showed a hint of pride. As if they were higher life forms, and everyone else, including Chen Ronghuo, were lower life forms. He looked at Chen Ronghuo and said lightly, "I came here to get an order. If you are willing to offer the attribute plane of your Hexi territory and slaughter all the other people in your Hexi territory, my Lushen temple can promise you the status of a high-level divine envoy. What do you think?" When Chen Ronghuo fought with the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor before, he used the sealing technique of the ancient book to seal part of their breath and movement in the battle. Therefore, Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi only knew that Chen Ronghuo had just fought with the Black Dragon Grand Duke and others, but they didn't know that Chen Ronghuo's strength had actually reached the peak of the 9th level. At the same time, they didn't know that the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch had been subdued by Chen Ronghuo in a short time. At this moment, as Lu Shizhen's voice fell, the field suddenly became audible. Countless eyes fell on Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi, all of which were cold. But Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi didn't care about this. The purpose of their Lushen temple is to kill the world. At the same time, improve strength in the killing. Not only them, most of the forces headed by the Black Demon Palace who came down from the Black Demon Star in the past also have various crazy purposes. What do I think? Chen Ronghuo raised his head, with a strange smile in his eyes. I think that since you are here today, don't go back again. Chen Ronghuo knew that this time, even if he did not kill 13 and 14, the killing temple would definitely not let him go. Because he obviously couldn't obey the orders of the temple of killing. And in this case, if he fights back the two of them, killing 13 and killing 14, the killing temple will definitely send stronger ones afterwards. So he might as well take advantage of the moment and capture the two of them directly, and use this to quickly improve his strength. After hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, the eyes of Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi suddenly condensed. I don't know how high the sky is. The next moment, Lu Shishi snorted coldly, do you think you are invincible after killing the White Tiger Duke? Today I will show you the strength of our killing temple. Boom. With just one sentence, Kill 14 released all the aura of a 9th level peak cultivator. The red true intention of killing surged up behind him and turned into a huge sky curtain, stretching across the void, making everyone feel intense depression. Just like that curtain, it will collapse at any time and transform into a terrifying killing monster, killing everyone below. Just like Chen Ronghuo dealt with the Black Dragon Duke before, Kill 14 was also building momentum at this time. Once he accumulates his momentum to its peak, the attack he launches will be earth-shattering. Seeing this scene, the hearts of the Black Dragon Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor, who had just been subdued by Chen Ronghuo, sank. They all have the feeling of being a dog. I feel like I'm really unlucky. Just after joining the River Crab territory, Chen Ronghuo was targeted by the Temple of Killing. With just one glance, they knew that the two men in front of them, Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi, could probably compete with Chen Ronghuo in terms of strength. When the two join forces, will Chen Ronghuo be his opponent? I'm afraid that when the time comes, they will have to help. But even if they push back the people who killed the temple this time, the temple killers from behind will probably continue to come. They can destroy the Temple of Killing to the White Dragon King Island, so why can't they deal with a mere river crab island? At this moment, both of them felt despair and felt that their future was bleak. Humph! At this moment, Chen Ronghuo suddenly snorted coldly, although I am not invincible, it is enough for you two to be left alone. After the words fell, Chen Ronghuo didn't wait for Kill 14 to build up his momentum to its peak, then raised his hand and struck out with a palm, heading towards the two of them. Court death. Seeing that Chen Ronghuo actually made the first move, the expressions of Lu Shizhen and Lu Shijuan darkened. In Bihai now, even some of the strong men on King Island will show timidity after hearing the name of their killing temple. A mere Chen Ronghuo dares not to take them seriously and immediately kill the killing in their hearts. The idea came out. Before they came this time, the order they received was to try to conquer Chen Ronghuo and obtain Chen Ronghuo's attribute plane. But if Chen Ronghuo doesn't know what's good and what's good, they can also act according to circumstances. The red killing sky behind Lu Shishi soared into the sky, turning into a stream of light, converging on his hand, and then derived a bloody sword. The long sword struck from bottom to top, and the sword energy suddenly shot into the sky, slashing towards Chen Ronghuo's big hand. Boom! The void shook violently, and countless blood-red sword energy burst out, like a storm of sword energy, strangled crazily with Chen Ronghuo's big hand. The sword energy continued to disappear. Then new sword energy continued to emerge, trying to cut Chen Ronghuo's big hand into two pieces. But Chen Ronghuo's big hand was burning with raging black and red flames, as if it were the hand of the devil protruding from hell. Without any fear, it exuded vast coercion as it stretched forward, crushing and burning all obstacles without any fear. Fear of the endless killing sword energy. Peak 9th level. Lu Shizhen, who was not far away, raised his eyebrows after seeing Chen Ronghuo's displayed strength. He did not expect that Chen Ronghuo's strength was slightly different from the intelligence. Haha, it turns out that you have the courage because your strength has improved, Lu Shizhen suddenly sneered. It's just that although your strength is good, you can't escape from our hands this time. After he finished speaking, with a thought, he also condensed a blood-colored killing sword, and then together with Lu Shishi, they attacked Chen Ronghuo. Roar! But at this moment, a loud roar suddenly came from the mouth of the Black Whale Ancestor in the distance. In the roar, the Black Whale Ancestor opened his big mouth and locked a locking force on Lu Shizhen from a distance. At the same time, the Black Dragon Archduke not far away reached out his dragon claw again and grabbed forward fiercely. Only this time, the one he caught was no longer Chen Ronghuo, but Kill 13. Lu Shizhen was shocked. He did not expect that the Black Dragon Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor, who were supposed to be Chen Ronghuo's enemies, would suddenly attack him. However, when they were frightened, Crab Island in the distance also turned its head and aimed at them from a distance. The fat cats on the island, as well as the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others from the Five Factions Alliance, were all ready to take action at the same time. Waves of aura belonging to a 9th-level cultivator emanated from Hexy Island. The aura of these 9th-level practitioners not only frightened Lucizen and Lucizi, but also stunned the Black Dragon Grand Duke and Black Whale Patriarch, who had just joined Hexy Island, with incredible expressions. In addition to Chen Ronghuo and Fat Cat, there are actually other 9th-level practitioners on Hexy Island. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 471. Boom. When the big river crab moved quickly to not far from Lucizen, endless purple clouds suddenly rushed out from the river crab island. The purple clouds spread, shrouding Kill 13 in a strange formation. Lucizen's expression suddenly changed. He found that after entering the purple cloud, all his perceptions were greatly weakened. At the same time, there is a strong binding force that binds around him. What Lucizen didn't know was that this purple cloud was actually the fog of confusion. The green-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others in the Five Factions Alliance can not only use the sex heritage to exert strength comparable to that of 9th-level practitioners, but after their station is transferred from the demon-sealed land to the River Crab territory, they can also use it on the River Crab Island. Set up a 5-way enchanted formation. When they were in the demon-sealed land, they used the 5 directions mystic formation to fight against Yeluditian, the senior envoy of the Temple of Trap who was holding the artifact Bell of Fear. At this time, they set up a 5-way mythical formation, and immediately trapped Lushy San, who had reached the peak of the 9th level of cultivation, inside. It can be said that the Five Factions Alliance is now Chen Ronghuo's biggest trump card. If he joins forces with the Five Factions Alliance, even if a demigod-level powerhouse attacks, he will probably be able to deal with it. Of course, it can only be dealt with for a few times. A semi-god-level strongman is estimated to be able to resist 4 or so 9th-level peak cultivators. Seeing Lucizen trapped in the fog of confusion from a distance, the Black Dragon Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor were both frightened and frightened. Originally, there were 2 9th-level powerhouses on Hexy Island, Chen Ronghuo and Shamao, which had already shocked them beyond measure. But he didn't expect that so many 9th-level experts would suddenly appear on Hexy Island. And together, they were able to control Kill 13, who had reached the 9th level of peak cultivation. When they felt incredible, they all had a glimmer of hope in their hearts. I wonder if there is a more powerful power hidden in Hexy Island. Roar. One dragon and one whale roared at the same time, turned around, and together with Chen Ronghuo, formed an angle and began to besiege Kill 14. Facing the Temple of Killing, which had just destroyed White Dragon King Island not long ago, no one was unafraid, and they were no exception. But they knew that since they had joined the River Crab leader, they had no choice but to follow Chen Ronghuo all the way to the dark side. Boom boom boom. Chen Ronghuo grabbed it with one claw, and cooperated with the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor, and suppressed Kill 13 at a disadvantage in an instant. The bloody sword light from Lucizen's hand continued to collapse and continue to grow. However, the speed of derivation gradually failed to keep up with the speed of collapse. He frantically waved the bloody sword in his hand, but could only barely protect a few dozen meters around his body. And this range is getting smaller and smaller as Chen Ronghuo and others increase their offensive. The void kept exploding, as if several ancient demon gods were fighting each other. With every blow, billions of kilograms of divine power burst out. The mighty power spread, and if Chen Ronghuo hadn't deliberately used ancient books to seal part of the pressure, and the news of this battle, the entire Beehive would have been shaken. But that's it, some nearby forces also showed incredible expressions after sensing the movement here. Chen Ronghuo, a ferocious look appeared on Lu Shishi's face, and he yelled at Chen Ronghuo, "I am the senior envoy of the Temple of Killing. If you dare to kill me today, there will definitely be elders from the Temple of Killing who will come to kill you." The elder level powerhouses in my slaughter temple all have the strength to rival the island master level powerhouses from the 10 king islands in the North Sea. He was afraid. When he took over the attribute plane of the river crab leader and saw Chen Ronghuo, he never expected that Chen Ronghuo was so strong. Especially Chen Ronghuo is not only strong himself, but his subordinates are also so strong. Chen Ronghuo turned a deaf ear to Shi Shishi's words. He knew that whether he spared kill 13 and kill 14 or killed them today, killing Temple would definitely not give up. In this case, he can kill 2 people, why not kill them? Thinking like this, the power of his attack suddenly became more and more fierce, and his hands were like the claws of the devil, alternately grabbing at the 14th. On Hikra Island, Fat Mao stood upright on the city wall of Hikra Island, looking up at the battle in the sky, with a hint of arrogance in his eyes. You guys, why don't you take action? Seeing Fat Cat's appearance, Dahi Crab finally couldn't bear it anymore. It can't interfere in a battle at this level. But with Shamao's strength, if he takes action, he will definitely be able to speed up the end of the battle. However, Shamao stood on the city wall, shaking his head and wagging his tail, as if he was judging Chen Ronghuo and others. Dahi Crab had no idea what was going on in Fat Cat's head, and was extremely angry. There's no rush, it's not time for me to take action yet. Upon hearing Big River Crab's question, Shamao spoke slowly. He didn't know who he was imitating, but in a daze, he gave people the air of a master. Then when do you plan to take action? The Big River Crab has no good airway. Shamao narrowed his eyes and looked at Lu Shishi, who was increasingly struggling under the siege of Chen Ronghuo, the Black Dragon Grand Duke, and the Black Whale Ancestor. He stretched out a front paw and stroked his snow-white beard. Stroke. After pondering for a few seconds, he said, "Don't worry, when it's time for me to take action, I will take action naturally and it won't delay things." The Big River Crab couldn't help but exhale a few breaths of force. If it doesn't exhale this breath, it will probably be suffocated to death. It didn't know when the Fat Cat became so good at pretending. At this moment, the Fat Cat standing on the city wall suddenly brightened his eyes, just like now, it's a good opportunity for me to take action. Swish. When it said this, its figure had already dissipated on the spot, turning into an orange-yellow lightning, and with a whoosh, it appeared not far from Lu Shizi in the sky. Roar. A tiger roar suddenly came out of the Fat Cat's mouth, deafening. This tiger roar was the innate magical power it got from the White Tiger Grand Duke's White Tiger roaring sky. At this time, Lu Shizi, who was close to it, was trying his best to resist Chen Ronghuo's claws falling from the sky. But as the Fat Cat roared, he paused with the blood-red longsword he raised, and a flaw appeared in his defense. Chen Ronghuo and Fat Cat were connected in mind. When he saw that Lu Shizi had a flaw, his eyes immediately shone with divine light. He stretched out his big hand, and the fire was blazing, like the claws of a blazing demon, and grabbed it fiercely. With a bang, he broke through Lu Shizi's defense and landed on Lu Shizi. Roar. At the same time, the attacks of the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch also came together. With Lu Shizi's strength, even if he was hit by Chen Ronghuo, he would not be injured too seriously, so that he could not continue to maintain his current combat power. But with the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Patriarch, Lu Shizi was instantly seriously injured and fell from the void. Boom boom boom. Seeing that Lu Shizi was injured, Chen Ronghuo and his men showed no mercy and immediately beat the fallen dog. Each of them used their special skills and killed Lu Shizi together. Lu Shizi kept retreating and defending in the void, but he made a mistake and then fell into an absolute disadvantage. Like a prey caught in a hunter's trap, no matter how hard he struggled, it was useless. Finally, after Chen Ronghuo and his men made several moves, Lu Shizi closed his eyes unwillingly and was beaten to death in the void. With Lu Shizi's death, Fat Cat also flashed and returned to the River Crab Island. and stood on the city wall again in an upright posture, like a hero who had made a final decision and retired, showing a proud expression again. It raised its head and glanced at the void in the distance, grabbed its tail from behind to the front, and gently stroked it. I, fat cat, am really not an ordinary cat. When I come back, I must ask my master to give me extra food. I want fish Dopang to make me 1,000 tables of sea fish feast. Hearing Fat Cat's shameless muttering to himself, the big river crab hid its head in the water and didn't look at Fat Cat. Really weak in cultivation, can only watch others pretending to be cool in front of him. The big river crab chewed another stone with great effort. In the distance, as Lu Shizi died, Chen Ronghuo turned around and rushed straight to Lu Shizhen, who was trapped in the fog of the god of mystery by the blue-eyed holy thunder beast and others of the five-sex alliance, without any pause. At the same time, the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor also followed closely behind Chen Ronghuo and attacked Lu Shizhen together. Luxizhen, who was trapped in the fog of the god of mystery, froze when he saw Chen Ronghuo and others coming to kill him. Without asking, he knew that Lu Shizi, who came with him, was probably in danger. Roar! Luxizhen roared, and the blood-colored sword light in his hand was danced into a blood-colored sword curtain by him, blocking all the attacks on him. At the beginning, Lu Shizi was facing only Chen Ronghuo, the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor. Lu Shizhen had to face the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others from the Five-Sex Alliance, as well as the Siege of the God-confusing array. Therefore, it didn't take long for Lu Shizhen to be seriously injured under the siege of the crowd. After being injured, it was even more difficult for him to hold on. After just a few moves, he showed unwillingness in his eyes and followed the footsteps of Lu Shizi just now. After killing 2 peak 9th level practitioners in succession, the breath of the Law of Calamity suddenly surged towards Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo felt the amazing harvest of this wave and let out a long breath. Although he would definitely cause great trouble by killing Lu Shizhen and Lu Shizi this time, he did not regret it. Now the world of gods is changing too fast, and he can only become stronger as soon as possible. In the current situation, he must not be indecisive and hesitant. At this time, he must cut the Gordian knot. With the death of Lu Shizhen, the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others from the Five-Sex Alliance fell to the ground one after another, and at the same time, the five-sided God-confusing array quietly dissipated. Chen Ronghuo's figure flashed and landed on the Hexi territory. As soon as he landed, he ordered without stopping. Black Dragon, quickly arrange your people, all the cultivators above level 5, to transfer to my Hexi territory. People below level 5, quickly transfer to the Demon Sealing Land. Transfer to the Demon Sealing Land? The Black Dragon Grand Duke was stunned, not understanding what Chen Ronghuo meant. The Black Whale Ancestor beside him also opened his mouth slightly. I don't know if Chen Ronghuo said the wrong thing. Wang Chao, Meng Tian Chen Ronghuo didn't say much, but turned to Wang Chao and others and said, Black Dragon and others have just joined the Hexi territory. If there is anything they don't understand, you can help explain it. In addition, after all the people in the Black Dragon territory are transferred, you will assist the Big Hexi and quickly set off to the vicinity of the Aurora King Island. Go to the vicinity of the Aurora King Island? Everyone was stunned. But then, some people's eyes lit up. They thought Chen Ronghuo's plan was simply wonderful. The current Hexi territory is definitely not weak, as can be seen from their ability to quickly kill 2 9th level peak high level envoys of the Temple of Slaughter. In this way, even if they had some conflicts with the Aurora King Island before, under the watchful eyes of the Temple of Slaughter, the Aurora King Island would not dare to easily attack them at this time. And once they move their territory to the vicinity of the Aurora King Island, I am afraid that the Temple of Slaughter will have to make more plans if they want to attack them. Also Chen Ronghuo suddenly looked at the Black Dragon Grand Duke again. Ningyun on your island has already defected to the Temple of Slaughter. This time, it was he who leaked the fact that my Hexy Island has an attribute plane. How to deal with him later will be left to you. This time, the two high-level envoys of the Temple of Slaughter came and asked him for the attribute plane, and Chen Ronghuo began to feel puzzled. After all, in this world, apart from the people of Hexy Island, the only one who knows that Hexy Island has an attribute plane is Ningyun. So Chen Ronghuo used the ancient book to deduce and knew that the culprit who caused the Crab Island to be targeted by the Slaughter God Temple this time was indeed Ningyun. Ningyun surrendered to the Slaughter God Temple? The Black Dragon Grand Duke was stunned when he heard this, and didn't know how Chen Ronghuo came to this conclusion. However, seeing Chen Ronghuo's affirmative eyes, he didn't dare to ask more, but just said, "Don't worry, Lord, I will capture Ningyun and examine him strictly." Yes. Chen Ronghuo nodded lightly and didn't explain. Anyway, Ningyun is here, with the current strength of the Crab Lord, there is no fear that he will cause any trouble. Then, he explained a few more things, and quickly returned to his secret room in the Crab World and began to practice. This time, he first subdued the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor, and then killed two 9th-level peak gods of the Slaughter God Temple. It can be said that the harvest is huge. And what he has to do now is to transform all his gains this time into his own strength as soon as possible. In this world, only strength is real. With his huge gains this time, he will probably be able to cultivate to the late 9th level after the retreat. By then, he will probably be able to confront the demigod-level strongmen head-on. Chen Ronghuo is looking forward to this. Aurora King Island. Before retreating, Chen Ronghuo thought of Aurora King Island. This time he moved the crab territory to the vicinity of Aurora King Island. Aurora King Island might be extremely angry, but he naturally doesn't need to pay too much attention to this matter. On the surface, the crab territory is still a subsidiary territory of Aurora King Island. Now that something has happened in the crab territory, who should be blamed and who should be helped to share the pressure if not Aurora King Island? The next chapter will be later. Thanks to the book friend 201904011444954493 for the 2000 coin reward, Yan Doxin for the 500 coin reward, and the book friends, Ling Mokshan Fanny, and 201806101613077738 for the 100 coin reward. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 472. Lord, the soul lamps of 13 and 14 are out. In a hall located on the bottom of the sea, a cultivator wearing a black cloak bowed and said to a woman sitting above the hall, "This is a woman in black." This woman was very beautiful, but there was an extremely cold feeling all over her body. In particular, her long straight black hair gave people a vague impression that her hair should have been red originally, but after it became extremely red, it turned into black. With the strength of 13 and 14, they can't do anything to this river crab island. Or, what happened in the middle? The woman's expression was calm. The death of two high-ranking 9th-level divine envoys did not seem to attract much attention from this woman at all. She stretched out her thin, pale hands without a trace of red, and tapped on the armrest of the seat. "Investigate clearly and see what is going on." Yes. The subordinate received the order and immediately retreated. After the subordinate retreated, the woman slowly closed her eyes, grabbed a large amount of red breath from the void, and refined it into her body. As these red auras were refined, the aura on her body seemed to be getting stronger every moment. The breath of killing is running out, it's time to capture another King's Island. After a long time, a faint murmur came from the silent palace. This self-talk was very faint, but it was full of terror. Black Dragon Islands. The Black Dragon Grand Duke stared dumbfoundedly at the door between the two worlds opened by the big river crab, feeling dazed for a while. In the continent of the gods, even the semi-god level experts have difficulty opening the door to the two realms, including the demon-sealed land. Most people who want to go to the demon-sealed land can only go through the 10 fixed two-realm passages on the continent of gods. But those 10 passages are all in the hands of 10 powerful forces in the central continent. He never thought that the big river crab would have such an ability. If the current situation were not too chaotic, with the ability of the big river crab alone, the river crab leader could make a lot of money just by being a businessman in both worlds. The black whale ancestor who was with the black dragon Grand Duke was also stunned. Although it cannot transform into a human form now, it can shrink in size. It had already shrunk in size after the battle. The black dragon Grand Duke and the black whale ancestor looked at each other and couldn't guess how many secrets the river crab leader had hidden. But for them who are already tied to Chen Ronghuo, naturally the more secrets the river crab leader has, the more beneficial it will be for them. At the same time, at this time, everyone had also transferred all the 5th level and above cultivators on Black Dragon Island to the river crab territory in accordance with Chen Ronghuo's instructions. As for the citizens below the 5th level, a group of strong men used their methods to quickly send them to the original 5-sect alliance headquarters in the demon-sealed land through the two-realm passage opened by the big river crab. Since the alliance of the 5 factions moved to the Hexian world not long ago, there is no such big open space in the Hexian world, and the entire Black Dragon Islands has been swallowed up. When Chen Ronghuo takes over the Black Dragon Islands this time, he will naturally not give up on these people. Otherwise, if he ignores it, I am afraid that there will be no one to protect the people of the Black Dragon Islands afterwards. If they are encountered by the people from the Slaughter Temple, they will probably be massacred. With the help of a group of powerful people, within a short period of time, all the citizens below level 5 in the Black Dragon Islands were transferred to the demon-sealed land. The alliance of the 5 factions left the demon-sealed land and has not attracted the attention of other forces for the time being, so Chen Ronghuo plans to use it as a temporary stronghold. When De He Crab's cultivation reaches a breakthrough in the future and He Crab's world expands further, he will be able to bring these people back into He Crab's world. Boom! After everything was completed, De He Crab immediately moved in the direction of Aurora King Island under Chen Ronghuo's instructions. In order to rush for time and prevent the people from the Slaughter Temple from stopping them midway, the Black Dragon Grand Duke, the Black Whale Ancestor, and the 5 faction alliances all used their own methods to bless the big river crab with various secret techniques, making the big river crab more powerful. The river crab's speed soared to the limit. Where did this river crab leader come from? When the big river crab rushed towards the Aurora King Island, some people on the Aurora King Island all looked incredulous. In the previous battle between Chen Ronghuo and Kill 13 and Kill 14, although he used the power of the ancient book to seal part of the battle, making it impossible to sense it clearly from beings too far away, the Aurora King Island, which is relatively close to the Black Dragon territory, could sense it. Be clear. Knowing that just now, Chen Ronghuo and his men actually killed 2 high-level divine envoys of the Temple of Killing at the peak of the 9th level. The 9th level peak cultivator is already an absolute powerhouse here in Bihai. Chen Ronghuo killed 2 9th level peak experts at once, instantly attracting the attention of Aurora King Island. Everyone, please tell me, how should we treat the river crab leader next? The owner of Aurora Island, dressed in white robes, sat on the Lord's throne and spoke indifferently. His body is tall and straight, and he exudes a vague aura of intimidation. Even when he is sitting, he gives people a feeling of being superior. The Lord of the River Crab territory, Chen Ronghuo, is unruly and I don't know where he came from. Although he said that he is attached to our Aurora King Island, in my opinion, this is just a temporary measure for him. Bai Tianyuan, who had met Chen Ronghuo once before, said. He said, and this person is too good at hiding. I briefly fought with him last time, but at that time he only showed the strength of the late 9th level. When he killed the White Tiger Duke, he also showed the strength of the late 9th stage. But this time, he actually used the strength comparable to the peak 9th stage cultivator. And his subordinates are also well hidden, and there are many strong ones. I think facing such a territory, even our Aurora King Island must be careful." The others all nodded when they heard it. The 10 great king islands in the North Sea are high above the North Sea. But not long ago, Chen Ronghuo took advantage of the time when the Temple of Slaughter attacked their Aurora King Island and killed the White Tiger Duke who was attached to the Aurora King Island. Afterwards, he made all kinds of excuses, which made everyone in the Aurora King Island have a bad impression of Chen Ronghuo. Island Master. Just then, a strong man in the hall suddenly turned out a red talisman in his hand. He held the talisman and said with an ugly face, "I just got the news that the river crab territory has left the Black Dragon Islands and is coming to our Aurora King Island." "Come to our Aurora King Island? What are they doing here?" When they heard this person speak, some people immediately showed puzzled expressions. But more people, in an instant, their faces changed, revealing a murderous aura. How audacious! Among them, Bei Tianyuan, who was almost vomiting blood by Chen Ronghuo last time, snorted directly, "He just killed 2 high-level gods of the Temple of Slaughter, and ran to my Aurora King Island. What does he think my Aurora King Island is? Is it his refuge?" As soon as Bei Tianyuan's words came out, the cultivators who had just not figured out why Chen Ronghuo came to their Aurora King Island, suddenly figured it out. "It's really bold. Island Master, we must not let this person use our Aurora King Island as a shield." "That's right. If he dares to come, with your strength, Island Master, personally take action, plus us, we can definitely kill him quickly and let him suffer the consequences of his own actions." "Okay." The Aurora Island Lord calmly sat in the main seat and waved his hand. "If the crab territory is really coming for our Aurora King Island, it will be a good thing for us. If the Slaughter God Temple wants to deal with us in the future, Chen Ronghuo's Crab Island will be the first barrier in front of us. But, can we, the great Aurora King Island, let this person plot against us?" Bei Tianyuan showed an unwilling look. The Aurora Island Lord glanced at Bei Tianyuan. "Now the Slaughter God Temple is hiding in the dark and has many plans. We must not lose the big picture for the small. If we take action against the Crab Island, the Slaughter God Temple will take the opportunity to come, causing the million-year inheritance of my Aurora King Island to be destroyed. None of us can afford this responsibility." "It's okay." On the back of the big river crab, Wang Chao immediately stopped the big river crab after estimating the distance. At this time, the river crab was only more than 100 miles away from Aurora King Island. 100 miles away, for practitioners of their level, can really be said to be a matter of seconds. After the big river crab stopped, Wang Chao and others waited quietly. They knew that people from Aurora King Island would definitely come next. In fact, as they expected, it didn't take long for people from Aurora King Island to arrive. What surprised them was that the people from Aurora King Island didn't drive them away, nor did they make any requests, but encouraged them. Although Wang Chao and others were surprised, they didn't think much about it. Now Chen Ronghuo is practicing in seclusion. For them, it is naturally better to have less trouble than more. So after the people from Aurora King Island left, they all started practicing. At the same time, for some unknown reason, the Temple of Slaughter was very concerned about the people they killed. The 2 high-level divine envoys did not react at all. It was like the calm before the storm. Time passed quickly for more than 10 days. More than 10 days later, in the river crab world, Chen Ronghuo opened his eyes, and the void seemed to produce a bright white lightning. This time, under the 20-fold time acceleration, he practiced for more than half a year in one breath. The breath of the law of calamity that he obtained that day was completely refined during his retreat. At the same time, he also took advantage of this to break through to the late 9th level in one fell swoop and stabilized his cultivation. The brilliance in Chen Ronghuo's eyes disappeared, and then a trace of consciousness was separated, entering the internal space of the ancient book. In fact, he had already broken through to the late 9th level. The rest of the time was spent on stabilizing his cultivation and perfecting the secret art of unity. And he came out of retreat this time because after so many days, the last sealed page of the ancient book, the 9th sealed page, was finally unsealed. This chapter has fewer words, and will be supplemented tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 473. This river crab collar is quite interesting. Gradually as time passed, not only Aurora King Island and other nearby forces knew what Chen Ronghui had done not long ago, but other forces also knew that Chen Ronghui had conquered the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the Black Whale Ancestor. At the same time, he also learned that Chen Ronghuo actually killed 2 9th-level peak high-level divine envoys in the Temple of Killing in one fell swoop. If conquering the Black Dragon Archduke and the Black Whale Ancestor was just a bit surprising, then Chen Ronghuo's killing of 2 9th-level peak Slaughter Temple senior envoys really shocked the entire Bihai. It was at this time that the situation in the entire world of God seemed a bit delicate. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, the strength displayed by Chen Ronghuo and He Xieling would definitely attract the attention of all the big and small forces in Bihai. After all, he was able to kill 2 9th-level peak cultivators in a short period of time. Even if his overall strength was not as good as that of a demigod-level expert, it wouldn't be much different. With such strength, here in Bihai, only the powerful ones at the level of the island owners of the 10 King Islands can guarantee that they can beat them. In the Aurora King Island, the owner of the Aurora Island is sitting in his secret room. When he opens his eyes, they are like 2 suns, blazing and hot. But at this time, his brows were frowning. Sure enough, it still doesn't work. He muttered something to himself. In the past 10 days, he has been impacting his own realm, wanting to go from the demigod level to the god level. Now his cultivation level has reached the limit of semi-god level. It stands to reason that with his talent, he would never be able to reach the god level once. As long as he tried a few more times, he would always be able to succeed. However, the fact is that so far, he has launched more than a dozen attacks on the god level realm. But now, there seems to be a barrier between heaven and earth, preventing him from moving towards that mysterious realm. Gods, what are you doing? The owner of Aurora Island took a deep breath. In fact, he had already received the news and knew that since the gods left hundreds of years ago, the gods on the mainland, no one can successfully attack the realm of gods. It's just that there are still many people who are unwilling to give up and will attack the realm of gods again and again. The owner of Aurora Island is one of these people. It seems it's time to change your mind. The owner of Aurora Island shook his head and put away the unwillingness in his eyes. After cultivators reach the peak of the 9th level, they have 2 paths. One is to break through and become a demigod, and then attack the realm of gods. One is rushing upward from the peak of the 9th level, directly hitting the 10th level. The 10th level is a special realm. Most practitioners in this realm are stronger than ordinary demigods, but not as good as lower gods. However, the 10th level cultivator has a strong foundation. Unless he wants to continue to attack the 11th level, once he merges into divinity and breaks through to become a god, he will directly break through to become a medium god, and he will also be one of the most powerful among the medium gods. Member. But generally only people with extraordinary talents can take such a path. For those with lower qualifications, if they want to reach the 10th level, they will definitely have no way to reach heaven or earth. Now, the owner of Aurora Island plans to abolish his semi-god level cultivation, and then use his years of accumulation to change his path to attack 10th level cultivators. It was precisely because of this that he ignored the fact that Chen Ronghuo actually drove Hexi Island to the vicinity of his Aurora King Island after killing the senior envoy of the Slaughter Temple. This is his most critical time, and there is no room for too many changes. It's up to you. The owner of Aurora Island raised his head and his eyes fell on a bonsai in his secret room. This is a vigorous ancient tree bonsai. Although the ancient tree in the pot looks like a dragon and very simple, it is only half a meter high. Only the golden fruit on this ancient tree looked extremely extraordinary. The bonsai sat alone in his secret room, looking lonely. But when the Aurora Island master's eyes fell on it, especially on the golden fruit, it showed an unusual burning heat. When the Aurora Island master was practicing in seclusion, 8 practitioners with different temperaments gathered together in a secret place in the North Sea. The auras emanating from each of them were all very powerful, and they seemed to be no weaker than the Aurora Island master. If anyone who knows them is here, they will be surprised to see the 8 of them. Because these 8 people are the island owners of the other 8 king islands in the North Sea, in addition to the owner of Aurora Island and the fallen owner of Bailong Island. At the same time, each of these 8 people is a demigod-level powerhouse. Everyone, let's talk about it. This is the first time in so many years that we have sat together so calmly. One of them, a young practitioner in black robes with a pale face, spoke with a smile. This young man in black robe has actually lived for hundreds of thousands of years. At the same time, his true identity is the island owner of the ancient Corpse King Island, named Shi Wuxin. King Jinwu of King Jinwu Island heard Shi Wuxin speak and asked lightly, "Zi Wuxin, let's not talk about anything else. Let me ask you, why didn't King Aurora come?" Everyone else also looked at 11 Wuxin. Under the pressure of the Temple of Killing and Jiatuo Snake Mother, the major forces in Bihai gathered together under the call of 11 Wuxin. But the Aurora King didn't arrive, which seemed a little abnormal. Shi Wuxin shook his head, "Because I didn't tell King Aurora about this gathering." Everyone frowned when they heard this, not knowing what Shi Wuxin meant. Shi Wuxin stood up, looked around, and said lightly, "Everyone knows the current situation. Our enemy is the behemoth Black Demon Palace. No one knows what the gods are doing now. But those ancient strongmen in our world of gods are trying to stop the Lord of Black Demon from breaking the seal. But whether they can stop the Lord of Black Demon from breaking the seal in the end is unknown." Speaking of this, Shi Wuxin paused, "Let's not talk about those ancient strongmen, and even the current situation of the central continent and the sealed demon land. Now I will only mention the main enemy we are facing, the Lord of the Killing God Temple, and the resurrected Gatuo Snake Mother. These two were half-step pillar god-level strongmen when the gods were still there. They are existences far beyond our imagination. Even if they have just been resurrected and their strength is far from recovering to the peak, they are still terrifying strongmen for us now." Shi Wuxin paused again, this after waiting for a few seconds. He continued, "Faced with such a terrifying existence as them, I'm afraid none of us here would want to encounter them alone." Dang! Dang! Suddenly, the Heavenly Ape King of the Heavenly Ape King stretched out his hand and knocked on the table twice, and said impatiently, "Shi Wuxin, if you have any suggestions, just say it. You are idle, but my time is very precious." Shi Wuxin smiled faintly, "Okay, since the Heavenly Ape King said so, then I will tell you my suggestions. The current situation is that once the person from the Temple of Killing God and the Gardo Snake Mother go out again and attack us, I'm afraid any of us will have to suffer the same as the White Dragon King that day, and we won't even be able to escape alone. So my suggestion is that we form an alliance, unite, and snipe the Temple of Killing God and Gardo Snake Mother together. Sniper the Temple of Killing God and Gardo Snake Mother." Everyone frowned when they heard this. Fi'io King of Fi'io King Island said, "You said it easily, but now the Temple of Slaughter and the Snake Mother of Jiatuo are hiding in the dark. We don't know where their base is. How can we snipe them? And the 8 of us should have no problem fighting against those two, but it is impossible to keep them." I know this. Shi Wuxin smiled confidently. "Originally, we wanted to snipe the Temple of Slaughter and the Snake Mother of Jiatuo, but there was no way, but now it is different. I believe you all know that not long ago, the Lord of the River Crab territory, Xuanhuan, who just killed the White Tiger Duke, killed 2 high-level gods of the Temple of Slaughter. I don't believe that with the style of the Temple of Slaughter, after the death of 2 high-level gods, they will choose to keep things quiet. You mean, use Xuanhuan as bait? All the people present were smart people. After hearing what Shi Wuxin said, they immediately knew Shi Wuxin's plan. They pondered it carefully in their hearts and suddenly felt that Shi Wuxin's plan was indeed feasible. At this time, Shi Wuxin continued to speak, as for the problem that it is difficult for the 8 of us to take down those 2, it is not a problem. The strength of those 2 is indeed beyond our imagination, but they have just revived and their strength has not reached the peak, so it is not impossible to deal with them. Now the ancient strongmen who still exist in our world of gods are all in the magic eye of the magic seal land, preventing the Lord of the Black Demon from breaking the seal, so these newly resurrected subordinates of the Lord of the Black Demon can show their power. But those ancient strongmen are not here, but we can release 1 or 2 of the ancient evil things that were sealed by the gods to deal with them. No, this is absolutely not possible. As soon as Shi Wuxin finished speaking, the other 7 island masters spoke almost at the same time. In the modern world of gods, cultivators and demons will choose to become gods directly after cultivating to the 9th level. So cultivators and great demons of the 10th level and above are extremely strong and rare. However, in the ancient times of the world of gods, there were many cultivators and demons who, after cultivating to the 9th level, chose to impact the 10th level, the 11th level, and even the 12th level, which seemed unimaginable to them now. And some of these strong men were extremely evil. These evil strong men were called ancient evil things. Some of the ancient evil things were so strong that they could even compete with the terrifying existence of high-level gods, peak gods, and even half-step pillar gods. In the ancient times, many wars in the world of gods were related to those ancient evil things. It was not until most of the ancient evil things were eliminated by the gods that the world of gods gradually stabilized and was no longer in constant war as before. But the demigod-level strong men of the major king islands present knew that in the ancient times, those ancient evil things were not all killed by the gods. At that time, the world of gods had just been born not long ago, the laws of heaven and earth were chaotic, and countless treasures were bred between heaven and earth. Among them, there was a chaos treasure called the Resurrection Stone. This kind of Resurrection Stone once appeared in large quantities, and many of them were obtained by ancient evil creatures, allowing some ancient evil creatures to be resurrected even if they were killed. Although even the top-level Resurrection Stones can only revive those ancient evil creatures 4 or 5 times at most, this still caused a huge obstacle for the gods to want to kill all those ancient evil creatures. So in the end, the gods could only choose to seal some of the ancient evil creatures that had resurrection stones in forbidden areas. And now, Shi Wuxin actually wants to unseal those ancient evil things, which immediately makes them alert. Once those ancient evil things break the seal, the harm they bring may be no less than the emergence of the Black Demon Palace. Our current situation is bad enough. Even if it gets worse, how much worse can it get? Shi Wuxin had anticipated everyone's reaction. He shook his head and said, "And the ancient evil things I want to unseal are not those on the evil god mountain." Oh, everyone was stunned, and the Sky Ape King asked curiously, "Then I wonder which forbidden area of the ancient evil things you want to unseal." The forbidden areas that seal the ancient evil things are called forbidden areas, but in fact, most of them are in the sealed alien spaces. After these alien spaces were sealed, not a trace of breath could be revealed, so except for the largest forbidden area in the world of gods, the evil god mountain, which is said to have sealed most of the ancient evil things. Few people know where the other ancient evil things are sealed. Shi Wuxin said, "More than 100 years ago, I was out on an outing. I found a ray of yin qi leaking out near an island called Beiwu Island on the edge of the Jiatuo Snake Sea. Later, after my investigation, I found that it was the forbidden place where the gods sealed an ancient Yanshui corpse in ancient times. Although that Yanshui corpse is an ancient evil creature, its real cultivation level is only 10th level. It was just lucky that it got a resurrection stone and was not killed by the gods. Now it has been sealed for so many years. The 8 of us can join forces and we are not afraid of that ancient Yanshui corpse. Everyone fell silent. Although releasing a Yanshui corpse with a cultivation level of 10th level is a bit risky, as Xuanhuan said, the 8 of them should be able to handle it together. Baidu King, who had been silent, said, "The question is, how can we use that ancient Yanshui corpse to deal with the one from the Temple of Slaughter and the Gardo Snake Mother?" "That's easy," Xuanhuan smiled, "we just need to set up a large teleportation formation connected to the vicinity of Hexi territory. When the time comes, as long as the Temple of Slaughter attacks Hexi territory, we will immediately break the seal of that ancient Yanshui corpse and move him over. I've read the records that the Yanshui corpse is very irritable. It has been sealed for so many years, and it is in urgent need of blood sacrifice to replenish its body consumption over the years. At that time, it will definitely start an endless killing, and then we just need to wait for it and the one from the Temple of Slaughter, as well as the Gardo Snake Mother, to be defeated before we can take action." Xuanhuan's eyes flashed with a gleam of light. There was one thing he didn't say, that is, if the ancient Yanshui corpse was too seriously injured, he would have a way to control it. At that time, he could even refine that ancient Yanshui corpse into his own corpse puppet, and raise his realm to the 10th level in one fell swoop. This method is feasible. A group of people pondered for a while and finally made a decision together. As for why Xuanhuan did not invite King Aurora to come over this time, they were very clear at this time. The Hexi territory is now near the Aurora King Island. Once they move the ancient Yanshui corpse that broke the seal to the vicinity of the Hexi territory, I am afraid that the Aurora King Island will not be spared and will also be visited by the ancient Yanshui corpse. If King Aurora is invited over this time, it would be strange if King Aurora agrees. What is this? When the Aurora King was in seclusion, preparing to abandon his semi-god level cultivation and try to walk the 10th level, and the other 8 island masters in the North Sea were plotting to use the river crab leader as bait and use the power of the ancient Yanshui corpse to kill the master of the Slaughter Temple and the mother of the snake, Xuanhuan was in his own seclusion room in the river crab world, looking at the things that were broken from the 9th seal page of the ancient book. And his eyes showed a trace of astonishment. The first 2 seal pages of the ancient book were broken, and a stone was broken once, and a dog was broken once, both of which seemed strange. And this last time, the ancient book broke a small tree. A small tree that looked dreamy and blurred through the seal column. Origin Mother Tree. Suddenly, a message appeared in Xuanhuan's soul sea. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 474. Original Mother Tree, Chaos Strange Object. Introduction. Born at the beginning of the world, cultivators can leave their natal mark in the original Mother Tree, thus using the power of the original Mother Tree to greatly accelerate the speed of comprehending the power of the law. Note 1. Only by leaving one's natal mark in the original Mother Tree can one utilize the power of the original Mother Tree to cultivate. Note 2. After a cultivator leaves his natal mark on the original Mother Tree, his own destiny will be connected with the original Mother Tree. If the original Mother Tree is destroyed, the cultivator who left his natal mark in it will also die. Regardless of whether they master the secret technique of resurrection or possess the secret treasure of resurrection. Note 3. The origin Mother Tree can carry the natal marks of up to 36 cultivators. Note 4. The power of understanding the law in front of the original Mother Tree can be increased 3 to 5 times faster depending on the person. At the same time, every time the source Mother Tree accumulates the power of a world era, after refining it, it can be controlled to release all the accumulated power, simulating an explosion of law power at the beginning of the world, which can greatly increase the practitioner's understanding. The speed of the law. Note 5, the time when the law of evolution of the original mother tree breaks out will generally last from 100 to 200 years. The specific duration is related to the enlightenment state of the enlightenment person who left the imprint of his life in it. Note 6, during the period when the power of the law of evolution of the original mother tree breaks out, once the enlightened person leaves actively or passively, they cannot continue to use the power of the law of enlightenment from the original mother tree until the power of the law of evolution of the original mother tree ends. Note 7, the original mother tree can be refined. After refining, the owner does not need to leave a mark of his life in it, but can also use its power to speed up the understanding of the law 3 to 5 times. However, if the owner wants to use its power to understand the law of evolution when the original mother tree breaks out, he must also integrate his own natal mark into it. Note 8, the destiny of a cultivator who integrates his own life mark into the original mother tree will be forever connected with the original mother tree. The original mother tree will not be destroyed. After his death, the owner of the original mother tree can also consume his own power to activate the original mother tree and will its resurrection. Chen Ronghuo quickly identified the information about the original mother tree through the identification technique of ancient books. When he identified the attributes of the original mother tree, there was a sudden silence. This time he broke open the last sealed page of the ancient book, and the original mother tree he obtained could be said to be outrageously powerful. Especially for those who are truly strong, this thing is definitely a more powerful treasure than the substitute stone tire that Chen Ronghui obtained before. Because possessing this item means that you can obtain dozens of extremely powerful subordinates in a short period of time. It's just, if I don't integrate the natal mark into the original mother tree, I won't be able to use the scene where the power of the law of evolution breaks out to fully comprehend the power of the law. However, Chen Ronghuo felt helpless. If he had obtained the substitute stone fetus before, he would probably not have hesitated. He would have chosen to refining the original mother tree while also putting his own life mark into the original mother tree, and then use its power to start the evolution of the law and quickly comprehend the power of the law. But he was a little hesitant because he had spent a lot of time refining the substitute stone body and was no longer afraid of death. He never expected that this thing could restrain the immortality of the stone substitute. There is still some time before 300 years. I only use the ordinary abilities of the original mother tree, plus find ways to obtain the breath of the law of calamity, and use the pure power of faith to practice. I should be able to arrive in 300 years. At this time, the strength will be greatly improved. After taking a deep breath, Chen Ronghuo made a decision. He decided that he would only refine the original mother tree, but the ability to explode the power of the evolutionary law of the original mother tree would only be used by his subordinates. In this way, he can use the power of faith saved by his men to speed up his own cultivation. The ability to explode the power of the evolutionary law of the original mother tree should be very strong, but the use of this ability is too restrictive for Chen Ronghuo. He would never allow himself to have such a fatal weakness. Dynasty, Meng Tian, Zhen Qian-san, Zhu Daipen, Li Haishui, Zhangji, Chang Sun Gengjiang, Chang Sun Yi, Chang Sun Ping, Chang Sunan, Chang Sun Sheng, Wu Piaoun, Mu Daoran, and several people from the Five Factions Alliance. Chen Ronghuo was thinking about the candidates in his mind. There are relatively many outstanding and powerful men under him, but it is really not easy to gather 36 people. He thought about each character in his mind. The grandson Zhengzin may not leave his birthmark in the original mother tree, but I can persuade him to leave the birthmark of the magic gift soul shadow in the original mother tree. After such a long time, as Changsun Zhengzin became stronger and stronger, the soul of Mo Licking also grew stronger. While gaining extremely weird abilities, he also really recovered some of his original memories. But there is still a long way to go before the magic gift love is completely restored. Chen Ronghuo felt that it would be a good choice to let Mo Licking's soul shadow leave its natal mark in the original mother tree. The formation method of the soul shadow of the magic gift is extremely special, and its potential is also very huge. And Huang Xiaoshan, Yu Dupang, and Huang Taizheng. Chen Ronghuo then thought of his two disciples, and Huang Taizheng who had followed him from the beginning when he first came to the world of gods. Huang Tishan's talent was originally only average, but over the years, with the countless genius treasures given by Chen Ronghuo and the use of his left-hand power to help him improve his qualifications, he has cultivated to the 5th level. This realm is naturally nothing to Chen Ronghuo, but it does not prevent Chen Ronghuo from reminiscing about his old feelings and giving Huang Taizheng a place. Of course, this is also related to the fact that Huang Tishan's qualifications are pretty good now. The other ones are Huang Lin and Ho San. Finally, Chen Ronghuo thought of Huang Lin and Ho San again. Huang Lin was trapped in the cursed temple in the Baiman territory. He had wanted to save him for a long time, but he was not strong enough before, so he has been delaying it until now. Now, it's time to rescue Huang Lin. Huang Lin possesses the body of Mongadu Black Emperor Snake. Once he uses the power of the original Mother Tree to greatly improve his realm, his strength will definitely be extraordinary. The same goes for Ho San. It's just that Ho San is now in Tianyuan King Island. He wants to force Ho San back from Tianyuan King Island, fearing that there will be some conflicts with Tianyuan King Island. This way, the number of people is almost enough. Chen Ronghuo slowly exhaled. In addition to these people, he will naturally not forget the fat cat, crab, and colorful spiritual butterflies waiting for his pets. Together with his pets, he can almost make up the number of 36 people. With these thoughts in mind, Chen Ronghuo took out the original Mother Tree, dropped a drop of blood essence on it, and began to refine it.